Wait.
There we go. Welcome, one and all, to the semifinals of Grand Slam Galaxy. I'm your commissioner, Willie or Won't He, here with my co-commentator, Silver Lily. Hello, Silver Lily.
Hello, Willie. How are you doing today?
Terrified! Welcome, everybody, to the semifinals for Grand Slam Galaxy. We've had 14 play days. We've had our quarterfinals. Now there are no lives left to give out. The top 4 teams of Season 1 of Grand Slam Galaxy have to duke it out to determine who, once and for all, stands on top. Silver Lily, it's been quite the journey to get here, hasn't it?
That it has, Willie. That it has. The playoffs, teams remaining in playoffs are purely newcomer teams and the Flowers, the team that turned it all around from an abysmal showing in the Winter CPU Classic and a really rough start to this season of Galaxy League to playoffs, to semifinals.
It should be a hell of a match, as we'll see whether or not the Flowers can finish their redemption arc, or as to whether or not one of our other newer teams can step up and claim the title of champion. Let's take a look at our bracket as we head into the semifinals here. Now, it is our first semifinal, the Spitballs versus the Monsters, and our second semifinal will be the Flowers versus the Rookies. Whereas Spitballs and Monsters was, I think we can all say, not the matchup we were expecting here, as the Spitballs came through and blasted through the Monarchs, winning both their games, I believe, yes. Beating the Monarchs 6-20 and then 7-17. So 10 runs up on both games to clean up the quarterfinals and make their way to the semifinals versus the Monsters, which were the number 1 seed team starting from Playday 2 all the way through, just barely holding on to that number 1 seed by the end of Playday 14 by run differential. Fun fact also, by the way, Spitballs versus Monsters, as I'm prepping Silver Lily to give you the mic for Flowers versus Rookies, Spitballs versus Monsters was the first first series for both of these teams back all the way in Playday 1 and 2, where the Monsters defeated the Spitballs 17-11 and 17-8. So, we're going to have to see whether or not the Spitballs have cleaned up their team, or whether or not the Monsters, that league leading team ever since the start, can punch their way to the finals. On the other side of our bracket, Silver Lily, what is the storyline going into this Flowers and Rookies game?
Well, Willie, that is an interesting question here today. I need to check real quick, because I didn't have it pulled up in time, when the last time the Flowers and the Rookies played each other. I do believe it was a brutal win for the Rookies, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, that would be a pretty safe bet. The Flowers and the Rookies...
Yes, okay, we have it. They played in Series 4, so that would have been play days 7 and 8. And the Rookies won in Bowser Jr.'s Playroom 3-1, and Daisy Cruiser 14-5. Now, this was before the Flowers had really settled into their current lineup. As we know, their current lineup, their current state of the team is a relatively recent change. And despite the Rookies looking really like a destructive force by that point in the season, an almost unstoppable force, the Flowers had managed to keep it very close during one of their games in Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, limiting the Rookies to only 3 points on their own field pick, while picking up one of their own. The story of the game at Daisy Cruiser, kind of the exact opposite. Flowers took the Rookies there in the nighttime, And the rookies took the Flowers 14-5. An absolute dominating fashion. But the Flowers have since tightened up their offense and defense, making big changes in their roster and star power in order to turn around and beat one of the only teams to take a game against the rookies. We will be seeing Bowser Jr.'s Playroom again. It is, in fact, the first stadium we will be seeing in their series. As well as Luigi's Mansion, Peach's Ice Garden, if it goes to Game 3. These are interesting stadiums for a heavily defensive team to take an offensive powerhouse like the rookies, too.
Okay. Silver Lily, real quick, by the way. I'm also very excited. Like 6 extra inches from the mic because you're popping it a little bit. But
mine's attached to my headset, so I'll do my best.
But oh my god, I cannot actually overestimate how delighted I was to see both Luigi's Mansion and Peach's Ice Garden in our semifinals. I have been the #1 defender of these stadiums as incredible stadiums in Grand Slam Galaxy. To see both of them in the semifinals is something that I am so happy to see. But we will
Unlike
see.
Peach's Ice Garden, we are guaranteed to see Luigi's Mansion because that'll be Game 2 of Spitballs v Monsters.
True. I believe that God loves me, and he'll make the Flowers and Rookies go to Game 3. Or God hates me, and he'll make both series go to Game 3, and my throat at the end of this will look like ground beef that's been tossed through a paper shredder. We'll figure out how it feels. Now, we're going to get into our first series, and our first game of the semifinals, as the Spitballs get home field advantage first in their series against the Monsters, and we head to Bowser Jr.'s Playroom. Silver Lily, do you have any last comments about this matchup as we ensure that all the teams, all the players are fully set and we're ready to get underway?
Any comments about Spitballs v Monsters? Well, you were talking about how the Monsters last played the Spitballs right at the beginning of the season. I think the Spitballs roster and lineup, the way they've managed their team, and maybe just the team itself, has improved a lot during that time period. I don't think we're going to see exactly the same game as before. Maybe this is a little bit of bias. You know I love to root for the underdog as long as the underdog isn't playing against the musicians. But the musicians are no longer in this tournament. They lost to their underdog. So now I just root for the underdog.
Or you for whoever beat the musicians, as we found out.
I'd argue that the Flowers are still an underdog in this tournament.
Fair enough. They're going against the rookies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the semifinals of Grand Slam Galaxy. It has been a delight to take you all the way throughout here. Oh, also, one small thing before we start. The Monsters, I want to point out, because it is a roster change, have first up shuffled up the first 3 of their batting order just a little bit, doesn't matter as much, but have diverted their star power from Salamander to Bowser. And Bowser, who is traditionally a very heavy-hitting hitter, I don't know actually whether or not that extra star power will affect his batting and pitching as much, but it'll be interesting to see, and it's a terrifying test to make in the semifinals versus the Spitballs. So, eyes on Bowser to see whether that extra star power puts a little bit of extra oomph behind his bat. What's up, Silver Lily?
I have a question for you, Willie. Would you say that this is desperation or hubris coming from the Monsters? Because those are the 2 main reasons I can think for why somebody would make a test like this in the middle of the playoffs. Either they are worried about being able to get the win and are desperate to have extra power in the right place when it matters most, or they just don't think the Spitballs can do it. They are underestimating them so much that they think they can get away with shuffling around their star power to whoever just to see what works, because they're prepping for the finals in advance. So what do you think it is, Willie?
Welcome to the semifinals! It can be both. Why can't it be both? Okay, now Waluigi starting off pitching for his team. I'm very curious to see here. Oh my god, no, Strawberry immediately with a beaner to right field. That should go out foul. Jesus. Okay, statement
Just
made.
barely.
But I'm very curious to see here the pitching rotation for both these teams. This can be a very defensive stadium of Bowser Jr.'s playroom as Strawberry flies out to start the game for the Monsters. So this should be when the pitching rotation is at its best, as the pitchers should last longer with lower chances for big hits. That is, of course, pending massive small ball play like the Spitballs showed off in their series against the Monarchs. So we'll have to see whether or not this works out for the Monsters or whether this is a disaster in the making defensively for them.
I do want to point out exactly how much Bowser Jr.'s playroom is being favored by underdog teams right now. Both the Spitballs and the Flowers choosing it as their home stadiums for the first 2 games of their respective series. Neither of them are considered to be the offensive threats that the Monsters and the Rookies are, so they're choosing to go to a stadium that will bolster their defense and hope their own offense doesn't suffer too much in comparison. We're now going to see a huge long ball from Bowser, but the buddy jump from Toad and Miyamoto in the outfield will have that covered. It will be a 4-up, 3-down inning for the Monsters off of star pitcher Waluigi's glove. Important thing to note here, in direct contrast to the Monsters, the Spitballs have left their star power on Waluigi almost the entire season.
Yeah,
I think they might have had it on someone else right at the beginning.
I think the Monsters are easily the team who have shifted around their star power the most, because it's been on Strawberry, it's been on Salamander, it's been on Boo, and it's been on Bowser. So it's been on 4 players in the Monsters lineup.
The musicians might have had them contested. They had it on Dixie, Tiny, Baby Peach. I believe they had it on Funky Kong for a little bit. And then they also had it on Donkey Kong. So they had it on 5.
Fair enough. I know it's a double play. Means that it's only 3 through the batting rotation for the Spitballs. We start this contest off, as you would expect on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, with an empty scoreboard. Now, the Spitballs definitely have a more dangerous part of their batting rotation in the later section of the lineup, whereas the Monsters peak strong and get weaker later. So I would say that the Monsters are the team with a little bit more pressure on them to get through some batters and get back to the top of their lineup, whereas the Spitballs can go, okay, we don't really expect to start that strong at the batting box. Not good start for the Monsters, though, as they hit into a double play.
Double play like that is the exact opposite of what the Monsters were wanting from this situation, and it looks like Captain Waluigi is looking to shut them down right here and now with that trick ball. It won't do much. Batted through by Salamander, but Reggie in the outfield in the right position. The dimensions of the playroom working in the defense's favor here.
That means that the Monsters go scoreless through 2, and Boo, who has not had star power now for a couple of weeks, remaining their starting pitcher, has to take responsibility for this. Unfortunately, the Boo item won't stop Wiggler, whose bat has been so consistent. I've been pushing Mr. One-Sistency so hard, and it's only me, but I love that name. The second Boo, though, from Reggie, will let him get a single off a hit to left field.
Could have been an easy out for Edward Elric, but he didn't get under the ball before the Boo made it invisible, which did activate a chain chomp. I have yet to see a single one of the hazards on Junior's Playroom matter. It's just been the dimensions and the walls, as we see a strikeout from Yellow Toad. First one of this game, and I think the 4th of the playoffs in general.
Yellow Toad has been a player that we've all kept our eye on forever. Just like, okay, ever since Yellow Toad and Purple Toad swap between the musicians and the Spitballs, looks like Yellow Toad might be the one who tries to make a bigger impact on his team, but after getting that strikeout in a key playoff spot from such a consistent slap hitter, with Bolt driving a line drive up single, up the third baseline, Well, the Toads are supposed to be such good hits, but it's Bolt the Magic Koopa that delivers the reliable slap for a single.
And I think the different Toads have had different impacts on their different teams. Toadjima, over on the Musicians, now eliminated, was much more of an offensive performer for his team than Yellow Toad, whereas Yellow Toad is a key piece in the Spitballs outfield. Doesn't need to do as much offensively in order to justify his place on the team, because the entire outfield would not work without him. A good trick ball from Waluigi baits bad contact from Strawberry, and that'll be another scoreless inning as we go into the bottom of the third.
That does mean that the Spitballs are in prime position here, as Wario and Waluigi, the sub-captain and the captain, up back-to-back, but Wario is not going to be able to navigate his way out of the infield as Bolt the Magic Koopa reels that hit in. It sends Wario straight back to the dugout. Now the captain Waluigi will have to step up and see what he's able to do in the bottom of the third. Slap hit to left field. Not able to evade Elric.
A good run by Edward Elric, reaching out the glove to snatch it out of the air. It looked good for a moment, but it looks like it's going to be a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Spitballs. Both teams going scoreless into the fourth. Right now, I favor the Monsters. While they haven't managed to score any runs, they've been getting deeper into their lines, they've been getting more hits, and that's going to be tiring out Waluigi faster, whereas there's only been a couple of successful hits from item assisted or otherwise from the Spitballs, and an early throw from Blooper is going to, well, really it's just the power block in general, is going to make that into a single. Could have been an easy out.
That was a real close play, the type of play that you don't need to see for the Spitballs, but they quickly clean it up, as just like last inning, Wiggler catches a ball heading for left field and turns the double play. But Bowser, with the extra star power, well, someone had to open up this game, and with an absolute, I've been overusing the word bomb, I admit, on my commentary, but I think we can call that one an absolute laser. As straight through to left field, it's a solo shot homer, but it is a homer for Captain Bowser.
A high line drive at the right angle to clear the fences on Bowser Jr.'s playroom. A little bit of shades of Donkey Kong on that one. And, that is... What is the name of Red Koopa again? What is the nickname?
Seeker.
Seeker. I know, I remember all the other nicknames, but it took a little while for Red Koopa to find his.
Yeah.
So, Seeker actually following up with a solid single there. Blooper determined to lock things down. It will still only be a one-run game. Monsters, I don't know if they've really opened up the scoreboard so much as slipped through a crack in the fence.
Well, now it's up... Slipped through some planning permission in the fence. The power block is too far away from Bowser to stop him from catching that throw from Salamander for the first out. Boo still going relatively strong here. Salamander makes his defensive presence known in the first 2 outs of the inning, and Mr. Consistency steps to the plate. Slap hit finds the hole.
High slap over the head of Bolt, one of those very dangerous infielders you have to make sure you clear if you don't want them to just catch you out. That will be a single, 2 outs for the Spitballs. It's up to Reggie to try and make something happen off of it, but Salamander is going to make a diving catch just to make sure the inning gets shut down right here and now.
This is very interesting to me because the Spitballs did something that we would have guessed was impossible. They successfully played small ball to devastating effect against the Monarchs, who have one of the best infields in Grand Slam Galaxy. Now, Bowser Jr.'s playroom is the type of field which really shuts down big bomb offenses, but typically, small ball offense should not be as heavily affected. So, it was a good pick from the Spitballs to come here, especially after showing new strengths, but a good hit from Salamander and a good slap from Bolt will put 2 runners on first and second. Something I'm not sure we've had yet this game. With Boo stepping up to the plate. Yeah, the team that loads the bases first is the Monsters as Waluigi starts to tire and Strawberry, the top of the Monsters lineup, steps up to the plate.
Bases loaded now. It's looking rough. A series of perfect hits from the Monsters, but a good throw by Miyamoto in the outfield actually prevents Salamander from running home. Bases remain loaded, but now it's 1 out. Wiggler and Blooper turn the double play to prevent any more scoring, and they get Waluigi out of that jam.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Absolutely shutting it down after Salamander makes a bad base running choice, hesitating as he's not sure whether the pop fly is going to get caught out. The excellent double play from Wiggler, who's turned double play after double play after double play in this game, completely shut out the Monsters in an incredibly dangerous position.
And I think something to point out here is that the kind of small ball that works well against the Monsters, or not the Monsters, the Monarchs infield, might not work the same against the Monsters, because the Monarchs have a very scary infield that relies on the two bros and their special bro catches. While Bolt can do something similar, Salamander is much more of a traditional infielder that goes for dives and jumps, the kinds of snag plays that work well against the types of hits that would go over a Monarch infielder's head.
Well, to start off the 6th, Garg barely slaps a ball right above Blooper, and Wario will be called in to face down the newly starred Captain Bowser. 1 on charge, but it goes way too low. It will let a Garg reach second, but Bowser is caught out at first.
Team is definitely hoping to see more of the home runs like Bowser's already produced. For now, they're going to have to settle with advancing the runners. Seeker making a single off a pretty strong hit out to left field that was a line drive.
That means we have runners in the corners, 1 out. It can end with 1 bad hit to the infield, but a fireball saves the double play from happening. Lets the runner on third touch home, lets Seeker advance to second, but Elric caught out at first. That does make our score 2-0, favoring the Monsters as Salamander steps to the plate. Good.
Line drive out to center from Salamander will be good enough for a single, puts runners on the corners. Here for Bolt, that's probably the batter you're happiest to see if you're on the Spitballs right now.
Yeah, despite a good hit at the last at-bat and a good contact this time too from Bolt, the buddies are there, Yellow Toad and Reggie, able to make the catch. It's a good effort from Bolt, but the Monsters only come away from another excellent position with 1 run, making our score 2-0. We've seen in games before the Spitballs be able to drive back in 1 inning and score over and over and over again off small ball. And it'll be up to Captain Waluigi to see whether they can have one of those magical innings in the bottom of the 6th. He
Having
wants
not
it.
punched through Boo here, he really wants it with that quick redirection ball. It's good enough for a single, but probably not the kind of bounces he wanted. Didn't even make it past the infield, really. Just threw him for a loop for a little bit.
Green Dry Bones.
Green Dry Bones thinking about bunting, doesn't find it, and is probably going to go for a slap now, and it will be a good slap out to left center field. Good enough for a single. 2 runners on.
All right, pressure on the defense of the Monsters for the first real time this game as a runner on first and a runner on second puts Boo in a bit of a tricky spot with no outs, but the next hit from Iwata, caught by a Garg in the outfield. Waluigi will take the opportunity thanks to a fireball to make it to third, and we have runners in the corners with 1 out now as Blooper steps to the plate.
Blooper's not known as the best batter, and it'll be a quick reel in and double play, exactly what the Monsters were hoping for. A little bit rough. If Green Dry Bones had just stayed near the bag, then they might have stayed up for Wiggler, who could have maybe driven Waluigi home. Instead, it'll be a double play and another scoreless inning, and it's once again up to Wario and the defense to try and shut things down, keep this lead from widening, so they have another opportunity for the small ball that won them their games against the Monarchs.
Monsters are back up to the top of their order, though, and Strawberry, the Pianta, is charging deep. Good hit out to left field. That'll be only a single, but it will be a runner on base that, well, a Spitballs fan is not happy to see. Thermite now, second in the order, steps up. Now, with how slow Strawberry is, any infield hit here could easily result in a double play. So,
Two strikes. Players in this league do not like to charge up on the third, so that's a good sign, or it would have been. Thermite finds the line. Gets it right over Blooper's head. Blooper has been such a rock in the infield for the Spitballs, but just has not been able to make the plays today. Bases load once again.
Captain Bowser, who's already hit one absolute beamer of a ball so far this game, now with bases loaded, only one out on him. A star hit goes right through the middle past Wiggler. It's a single, but it's a third run in the game and no additional out for the Monsters. Leaves them with bases loaded, a 3-run lead, and one out in the top of the 7th. It's rare to see a star hit from Bowser, but I think he's done it. He pulled it out in Series 7, and he pulled it out now in the playoffs. But Seeker is not able to avoid the infield, grounds out to Bloop at the second base position, and that double play once again keeps the Monsters, even though they were in a very dangerous position, to only putting one up on the inning.
That infield for the Spitballs has just been so important for their defense since their restructuring. Blooper, as I said, been incredibly solid, been a constant rock. Wiggler as well has had an excellent infield performance, almost had a good batting performance there, but the buddy jump will shut that down before it hits the wall. It wasn't ever going to clear, but it could have been inside the park and fair, if not for that buddy jump. Monsters with better outfield discipline than we saw from a lot of teams in the quarterfinals and the play-ins. Actually going for the buddy jump on what will eventually be an in the park ball.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of teams when it's that ambiguous, like just barely like on the fence ball, settle for catching it with an off-the-wall bounce. But the Monsters, well, it's a little bit higher than that, and it's enough to drive the outfielders to make the jump. Yellow Toad is the man to get on base with 2 outs now, and Miyamoto needs to make way for Wario. Does exactly that, and a POW block. Yellow Toad does not elect to advance off it. I'm not sure if he had enough time or not. It would have been close. But with a runner on first and a runner on second, Sub-Captain Wario steps up, makes great contact, ball out to right field. But Thermite snags it, and with 2 outs early in the inning, despite an opportunity with a runner in scoring position, the Spitballs leave the 7th still. No runs on the scoreboard. And the Monsters in a great position now with Salamander coming up to try to extend this lead.
Wario pitching another one of his tricky pitches will find a strike off of it. But a strike's not much in this league when we barely see strikeouts at all. Going for another. Edwards has found the mark this time. Line drive up center. It's going to be a late snag by Yellow Toad and an easy single for Edward.
Well, Salamander lost star power privileges after Series 7, but is still such a dangerous batter, proving it with a good hit up the center off that slap to get a runner on first, runner on second. Now, it is the weaker part of the Monsters' rotations. Batters 8 and 9, Bolt and Boo. But these batters have proven themselves to be surprisingly excellent. Case in point, Bolt finding the hit out to right field and allowing Edward Ellick to advance all the way home for the 4th run of the Monsters this ballgame.
And I think this game we're seeing one of the dangers of that temptation of Bowser Jr.'s playroom for weaker offensive teams. Yes, it has definitely stifled the offense of the Monsters. They are not scoring in the double digits, but they have found their way to work with small ball. We will see a buddy catch here to prevent that boo, but it's going to be a sacrifice fly that drives in Salamander. The Monsters have adapted to the necessary small ball, making use of their great offense to play the base game. Meanwhile, the Spitballs haven't been able to get through even the Monsters' starting pitcher. Boo has stayed fresh, not even getting tired through 7 innings of pitching. They haven't scored once, they've barely been on base.
And Wiggler is pulled in to try to close out this game. Wario put on that shortstop position, at least turns the double play to end the inning and stop the Monsters after their first inning where they score more than 1. The Spitballs, who have gone quiet for 7, well, if they want back into this game, they need to do more than score 1. They need to do more than score 2. They need to start cutting down this 5-run deficit, and Captain Waluigi, well, starts that off with a beautiful hit to right field. Hey, is that the chain chomp interference that you wanted?
It still hasn't really done anything, Willie.
Still, yes, Boo, keeping fresh, a dangerous hitter in Green Dry Bones. You know I will always hype up the Dry Bones and how hard they can hit. Case in point, a beautiful slap from Green Dry Bones to get a single, and no outs with a runner in scoring position is about the best opportunity the Spitballs have had to try to get some points on the board. Iwata looks like he wants to bunt.
We've seen this start before, Willie, and it ended with an Iwata out, followed by a double play from Blooper. Runners on second and third might make that double play a little less likely, and if they can get through Blooper to Wiggler, they might have a shot at driving in a run. Of course, Blooper might find exactly the kind of hit they want, and that'll be 1 in, 2 in, Chain Chomp doing something for once. That's exactly the kind of start that the Spitballs needed to find to this inning, minus Iwata getting out, of course. They really would have rather had him on. But Blooper turning it around from before, Boo finally getting tired and is going to immediately make the switch off for star player and team captain Bowser.
It'll be interesting to see.
It's Wiggler's job to hit through this. Instead, Wiggler's going to hit it right out to Edward Elric.
It'll be interesting to see if the extra oomph behind his fastballs does anything for Bowser. Those are very fast fastballs. It'll make a job easier or harder for any charge level players, but Reggie, with a good slap for a single, puts a runner back on second with 2 outs, and Yellow Toad, who's proven key so many times before, charges up early, but watches the first one fly. Second pitch, slap hit. Bolt jumps and makes the catch and stops the Spitballs inning. That's only 2 for them, but it cuts the lead down to 3 and gives them a chance. If they're able to do the best inning that they've had this game in the bottom of the 9th, they've got a chance at a comeback here. But in order to do that, first, they need to shut down batters 3 and 4 for the Monsters. Agaric, though, with a single.
Bowser up. Charges twice, looks twice. Probably going to go for the slap here. He does. It's out to left field and a safe single.
Weird. Okay, that does mean that it's a runner on first, runner on second with no outs. I'll quickly change as excellent sight from Miyamoto in right field. Lets him bring in a laser. If Agaric and Bowser were not on their game, they could have easily been caught out and that could have been a double play. But no, they'll stay on first and second. Elric, with a good hit out to center field, will allow Agaric to start running home. A bit of a bobble from Yellow Toad lets Elric reach all the way to second. And another run driven in for the Monsters when that's the last thing the Spitballs need.
Going to make a 9th inning comeback that much harder. They've shown they're capable of scoring the runs, but each run the Monsters score in return makes it so they have that much more work to do. And that's another 2 from the Monsters, meaning they've scored 3 this inning, completely erasing and surpassing the tightening that the Spitballs had done.
Monsters technically have a chance. Nope. Okay. And the adage remains after Bolt does what would have been an excellent hit up third baseline, but is stopped by the quick reflexes from Green Drybones. The adage remains. No team so far has scored double digits on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom unless they're playing against the Bows. And then, the only team to do it? Spitballs, baby! Miyamoto with a big hit out to center field. Elric and Agaric are there, though. And they'll do the buddy catch to snag that one out of the air.
Not the kind of start you want if you're a Spitballs fan. They need to score at least 6 in this inning, having scored only 2 across all of the other 8, both in the same inning, but still only 2 across 8. Bowser, plenty of star power to pull from, is looking to just lock things down. Star pitch 1, star pitch 2. Does he go for 3 to secure a strikeout? He will not, and Wario takes the slap. The star power goes to waste, as those strikes are meaningless if you don't actually get the out.
Captain Waluigi, the 9th batter in the order, charges up early against pitch 2, but Bowser sees it coming and throws out a star pitch, forcing a slap from Waluigi, or maybe a star hit of his own. No, slap to right field, caught by Thermite for the second out of the inning. And if the Spitballs want this game, they need 6 runs on a hell of a 2-out rally. Green Drybones fires it up the third baseline. Sorry.
Not be Green Drybones to start that off. It'll be Green Drybones to end the game. A line drive up the third baseline, as you were saying, falls right into the glove of Strawberry, the red Pianta, and the Monsters take this 8-2 on the Spitball stage pick. What are your takeaways from this game, Willie?
Well, I'm very curious about the Monsters because, on the one hand, Bowser did hit an incredible home run to open up the scoring in the top of the 4th, but besides that, it was once again this team just finding all the right spots to place the ball to advance the runners around. It wasn't anything flashy, it wasn't anything huge, but 8 runs on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom is pretty solid. It's one of the better scores that we've seen from a team on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom. Now, there is the question, the eyebrow raise. Not a lot of deep hits from either team here, so I would in fact actually criticize the Monsters here, as on most other stadiums they wouldn't have scored higher anyway. The only real laser beam hit that they had was only a solo shot bomb early. The rest of them were relatively weak but decent hits to the outfield that were caught by the outfielders on buddy jumps. So when it comes to the offense of the Monsters, I would expect them to score about this much on any field, which is maybe an eyebrow raise from me, because you would want them to do better. The Spitballs, though, who did such incredible small ball offense using those slap hits, only turn up 2 in inning 8. And it wasn't just a matter of getting shut down, they had very few opportunities that the Monsters gave up here. So I'm looking at the Spitballs as we prepare for Luigi's Mansion, and I'm saying, hey, Luigi's Mansion is a much more difficult field to play small ball on, and has a little bit of a closer fence line to go for big hits. Wario, you gotta step up for your team here and start hitting bombs if you're gonna want to keep up with this Monsters offense.
I agree, Willie. This was a really rough showing for the Spitballs. They just were not able to make it happen, and on their own stage pick, going into one that is offensively favored, especially one like Luigi's Mansion, known for really messing with the defense, I think the Monsters, we might just see them take it in 2. And if they don't, they go to DK Jungle. We have seen turnarounds already in this playoffs. We have seen turnarounds already. The Flowers beat the Musicians 2-1 after falling in the first game. But they did so with their stadium being the second one up instead of the first.
Well, oh my god, we actually had... I gotta point this out. The Monsters had 3 players tie for technical MVP honors as 3 players: Agaric with excellent buddy jumps, Bowser with excellent batting, and Salamander, who not just had good batting but also helped lock down that shortstop position, all tie at 100 points. Again, though, this is one of those things... What's up?
Is that our first triple MVP?
It's the first one that I've noticed. I'd have to go back through the archives. In order to make sure. But yeah, that is an unexpected scoreboard result for the 3 players, and kind of supports the narrative that I pushed of like very consistent hitting across the board from the Monsters team for this offense. Also, gonna point out Bolt barely coming up behind these 3 at 90 means we have a very evenly distributed play from the Monsters. Meanwhile, on the Spitballs, despite some decent attempts and some good fielding from Reggie, which is why his score is so high, no real standout players. I mean, fair performances across the board, I would say, from all these players, but no one really able to get their motors going. I really do think that Luigi's Mansion will be the time for the Spitballs of, hey, show up or get shown the door, as we head into prepping for game number 2 of our semifinals. Now, I do have to push the narrative here. Again, the Monsters versus the Spitballs were the first series in Season 1 of Grand Slam Galaxy. Literally, they were the top of the marquee, and Luigi's Mansion being the second game, the Monsters won it 17-8. Now, that was back before the Spitballs had a real outfield put together. I think that they're a much better defensive team. I think that there's very good opportunity for the Spitballs to make a call on this stadium. But if they want to start the comeback in this series, they've got to do it against the Monsters on a stadium where they got kind of beat down before. So, what do you think the real thought process of these Spitball players has to be going into this game?
I want to see them use more of their star power on hitting. I don't think Waluigi and Wario's star pitches really help them out much. Occasionally it gives them a couple strikes, sometimes they get bad contact. A lot of the time you see players hit straight through it and make it not matter. I think that's an adjustment I'd like to see. I don't think it's what I'm going to see, but it's what I'd like to see. Otherwise... And it would give them that extra offensive orientation that I think they need to punch through the Monsters. You can't just out-defense the Monsters. You have to out-offense them, too.
Well, we'll have to see. The Spitballs, after an amazing slap hit showing in the quarterfinals, now have to look to repeat that level of offensive pressure or fall in the semis versus the number 1 seed in Grand Slam Galaxy. Game 2 starts right now. It's gonna be a very curious game. I think that with the Monsters having home field advantage, there's a lot of pressure on the Spitballs after, well, dropping their home game. And now, with green dry bones being eerily lit from the bottom on this field, on a very small field, and a very disruptive field, Luigi's Mansion returns to Grand Slam Galaxy.
Green Drybones is able to make use of it right away, or rather, doesn't even need the field. Just hits it up the right past the infield. Iwata actually mirroring the performance. We will see 2 on immediately for the Spitballs. A complete deviation from their starting performance. Is Waluigi batter 9 for the Spitballs?
Waluigi's batter 9 for the Spitballs, yeah.
I kept thinking Waluigi was batter 1. I'm like, where's Waluigi? Why haven't we seen Waluigi yet? And that's going to be a triple play, completely erasing the first 2 good hits. Blue Purr put in that spot in the lineup for the chemistry. Instead, just completely destroying what was a great start to the game.
Okay. Well, that is a shame that the Spitballs had a triple play hit against them. Getting a runner on first, runner on second immediately was a lot better of an offensive showing a lot earlier for them. And I would say, despite the triple play, I'm very hopeful for this team heading out of the top of the first. But the question now is, can they shut down the Monsters offense? And with a double play turned from Wiggler and Blooper to keep the bases cleared, well, it's pretty good odds if Waluigi can force a weak hit from Agaric.
I want to be clear that I am in complete agreement. I was loving the start from the Spitballs. Good slap hits that found their way right to the right portions of the field for singles, and starting to load the bases was exactly the kind of small ball that Spitball fans have become accustomed to. A steal attempt from Agaric, and a long shot from Bowser with smaller dimensions. That's going to be a 2-run home run on 2 outs. That's what you were talking about, Willie. That's what you were talking about before this game started.
Well, as the ball is hit so hard that it meteors through the floor outside of the stadium, what's one more shattered window on Luigi's Mansion? Seeker, the 5th batter for this, finds a good hit up the center line, and the narrative that I will push on this Monsters team is, once you get past their first few batters, the goal is half just to reach the top of that batting order again. Elric now, responsibility to keep pushing it. Good slap, caught out by Wiggler for the 3rd out of the inning. So, no more pressure from the Monsters, but a good 2-run homer. After the Spitballs had an opportunity in the first, pressure's on them. You need to do more than good opportunities. You need to capture them as we head into the 2nd inning.
We're going to start off here with Wiggler, someone who people are counting on to be this consistent batter, able to make it to first this time. Reggie, actually been a pretty standout performer for the Spitballs in the past, hits a good charge hit right up the center. And that'll be another single, shades of the first inning, but this time it's not Blooper stepping up to the plate third, it is Yellow Toad.
Yellow Toad, do not hit it to Bolt. Do not hit it to Bolt. Do not hit it. Okay. It is caught by
Instead,
Elric.
It will be a hit Edward Elric, but it ain't a triple play this time.
Yeah. The good... Ooh, I think I might be a little bit... Let me turn myself down a little bit. Still a runner on first, still a runner on second. A double play is all that's needed to end this inning now from Miyamoto, but presuming he navigates his way past the outfield, caught by Bolt, 1 out, 2 out, and the inning does end there. The attempt from the Spitballs shut down. However, they've successfully navigated to the back half of their batting order, and with Wario and Waluigi seating the plate next inning, we'll have to see what the 2 captain tier players can do. Meanwhile, Salamander, big hit off a foul ball, really making sure that his presence is known now on the offense. Second big hit, this pop fly though, should be caught easily by Yellow Toad, especially with the lack of item defense.
Waluigi already starting to tire, managed to make it 5 last game. Might not even make it 3 this one, as the first sign of Luigi's Mansion's disruptive potential shows, with that ghost scaring Miyamoto into dropping the ball, and Waluigi will step off the mound right away.
Now, it is still only batter number 9 for the Monsters, but Boo still, after being batter number 1 for so long in the season, has picked up the consistent skills to hit a single and put runners on the corners for Strawberry. That slap hit, though, straight to Blooper to turn the double play, will make sure that the Monsters don't actually get any additional points on the scoreboard, and it's their turn to be shut down from a relatively good position as we enter a very scary portion of the Spitballs lineup. We saw a 2-run homer from the Monsters beforehand. If we're going to see it, well, we're not going to see it from Wario. His hit up at the middle, reeled in by Bolt at that second base position.
Now I think would be the perfect time for a Waluigi star hit. We're not going to see it. He's not going to use it. They don't use star power on offense. Most teams don't. Instead, it'll be a slap hit right out to Salamander. Not a single spitball on base for the slugging power of Green Drybones. Green Drybones gonna strike swinging there. And then a slap hit to Salamander. Change sides. Spitballs might be done with the playoffs.
It's only inning 3, and it's only
It is
a
only
2-run
inning
lead.
3.
But
It is only inning 3. I need to not get too down on them this quickly.
there is a excellent chance here for the Monsters to put up additional on the board. Batter 2, 3, and 4 will see the plate this inning. So, if Wario can't make sure that Thermite and Agaric are step silent, which, well, Thermite does hit a good single, a double play is really what the Spitballs need here to make sure there's not 2 runners on when Bowser steps to the plate. So Agaric will have to be forced to hit weak. Strike 1 on the first pitch. Second pitch now. Hit. Out to center field. Pop fly. Yellow Toad gets under it.
Good catch by Yellow Toad, not running into the fog. If you're gonna hit a pop fly, you want it on the stadium, you want to try and hit it into the fog where a ghost might interfere. A long shot by Bowser. Line drive out to deep center is gonna be good for a single that lets Thermite advance all the way to third. Puts runners on the corners for Seeker. Wario checking Bowser back at first base before throwing his first pitch. It's gonna be a trick ball. Does Seeker find the right one? He doesn't. That's good for a strike, and the charge-up will not be used. This time Seeker doesn't charge. It's a slap, but it goes right to center, right where it needs to go to load the bases. Thermite staying on third, probably the right decision. And it's Edward Elric's turn to try and bat any of them in. Wiggler missing the dive for that ball is going to let one in. And no outs, 3 remain on.
Just like that, a very hard situation for the Spitballs here. Salamander steps to the plate with loaded bases. Weak contact, though, will let Wiggler pick it up and turn the double play to deny run number 4 for the Monsters. They only pick up 1 on the inning. But again, the narrative for the Spitballs in this series so far, hey, you've had opportunities, and while the Monsters and the Spitballs get into very similar looking opportunities, it's the Monsters who are able to capitalize. So the Monsters, with their first chance, with loaded bases, at least pick up 1. An excellent dive from Salamander shuts down Iwata on the batting mound. But the Spitballs need to not just make their opportunities, they need to score on these opportunities as Blooper looks to make good on previous mistakes with an excellent line drive up the center for a single.
An excellent hit by Blooper will bring up Wiggler. It was Wiggler that ultimately ended up letting the team down in earlier innings.
2 runners on.
But this time manages to make it onto first. Reggie up. We're going to see our first star pitch from Boo. Reggie charges up, doesn't watch the start, or watches the star pitch, then charges up for the second, but hits at a low angle. All that power goes right into the dirt, and the ball dribbles easily into the hands of Salamander, who's able to turn it into a double play and shut down the Spitballs offense for the inning.
Now the question remains here for the Monsters. They're going into batters 8 and 9. If you stop them early, they're at the top of their order next inning in a very good stop position. If you stop them too late, well, then they get to go through the top of their batting order. So, Bolt getting caught out by Wiggler. That's pretty good for the Spitballs. Batter number 2, Boo, also caught out by Blooper in a mirror hit. They're at the top of the order here. Honestly, I think the best case for the Spitballs is to, like, maybe Pianta gets on base and Thermite is the one that gets out here. Pianta getting out.
I'm going to disagree, Willie, because for those who know Galaxy League, they know that batters getting on base and runs being scored is the mark of what makes a pitcher tired. And the Spitballs do not have a deep pitching staff. They have Waluigi, they have Wario, and that's it. After that, they're asking questions about who's coming onto the mound, and there's no real good candidates. So they wanted to see fewer runners get on, so Wario doesn't tire out as quickly. Instead, it's 2 on, so at least there's that silver lining you were talking about. They've managed to get through a few batters at the top of the lineup for the Monsters. It will have been 3, with the 4th batter coming up for the Monsters in the 5th. But that's still more stamina off of Wario. I'm surprised that was fair. I guess it bounced. It bounced. A lot of power on that from Yellow Toad to make Bowser slide a bit, even after a bounce.
Yeah, I saw Bowser walking out to the field. I mean, I wouldn't say that I saw Bowser walking out to the field. I knew Bowser was walking out to the field when I was getting my pregame hot dog. I looked at the hot dog water in the cart, and I could see the ripples going through it. Wario with a star hit, though. Clean out to center. Pow block to disrupt even more. I mean, it's a single, but it's a guaranteed single.
And I think that's what they need to make happen here. They have not been tiring out the... I think that's going to turn foul just barely. But they have not been tiring out the Monsters' pitchers at the same rate that the Monsters have theirs. So finding these singles, however it needs to happen, is the adaptation the Spitballs have to make. I like them using their star power on that.
Green
2 on base for Green Drybones. A good slug could clear the bases. If it were a 3-run home run, it would tie up the game. Instead, Drybones will load the bases for Iwata.
Alright, Iwata, you know that Blooper's coming up next. Not a lot of chances for your team here. Pitch comes in, slap hits, goes right to Bolt, who throws it to first. And the Spitballs not able to cash in the 3 runners on, are scoreless still going through the top of the 5th.
Guess Iwata felt bad for Blooper, didn't want to make him feel the pain of letting the team down, and just took that burden on himself.
Well, Bowser, big hit, but it will run foul. 2 strikes against him now, and the slider from Wario, he slaps out to center field and gets caught out by Yellow Toad. So, I mean, that's pretty good for the Spitballs. They've gone through the top of the order. Not only did they bring Bowser on without any runners on the base, so it wouldn't have been that much had he hit a bomb, they also shut him down completely. Seeker does get on base, but, you know, Edward Elric up, 1 runner on, 1 out. Not a lot of potential for damage here. The Spitballs in a relatively good defensive position as Elric charges up. Contact goes out to center field. This is where stuff starts to get scarier. Salamander, next batter. Runner on first, runner on second. Salamander has not been able to be the deep slugging hitter that other critters, like the ones on the, I was going to say the sister team, but the child team of the rookies have been. His hit to left field, caught out. And that's 2 outs now as Bolt steps up.
I'd almost say, like, Salamander is the all-rounder of the Critter family. Not the slugging threat like Critter or Brown Critter have been. Not the absolute defensive star that Blue Critter has been over on the Flowers. Salamander's just, you know, pretty good.
Okay, well, mirror set up now from last time as it's the Monsters with loaded bases. And again, if they're able to capitalize and the Spitballs are not, no, they're not able to capitalize. Boo's hit to left field, caught out by Green Drybones. This feels very familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. we're actually seeing right now a lower score, only been 5 innings. The last game really fell apart for the Spitballs in those last few innings. It's only been 5, but we're seeing a much lower score than we were expecting from this field.
Well,
That was actually a fair hit by Blooper, but it was right to third. And Blooper does not have the speed to make it happen. That is an easy out for the Monsters. Wiggler hoping to maybe hit a home run here with that charge up. Misses the ball, thinks better of it the second time, is going to settle for the single. Exhaust that ghost just a little bit more. Here comes Reggie.
You want to see slap hits and small ball from this section of the Spitballs offense. It's what works so well for them against the Monarchs, and as Reggie does a good hit out to right field, runner on first, runner on second, Yellow Toad, a very consistent hitter up. And who's that after Yellow Toad? Well, Miyamoto. And then after Miyamoto, Wario. If this batting lineup can get to Wario, that means that they've succeeded in doing all the damage they need to. Now, with only 1 out, the Spitballs have loaded the bases. Boo is starting to get tired. Miyamoto, you need to cash in this bank statement hit out to center left field, and that's going to be at least 2. No, maybe 2. Buddy,
maybe
throw in.
2.
Reggie caught
in
an
a
awkward
jam,
spot.
but there's nowhere to go. Yellow Toad had already taken third base. It will only be 1. The power block unfired and some excellent chemistry from the outfield, throwing it right back to home plate. Boo will now step off. They want a fresh pitcher to make sure Wario doesn't hit a long bomb and take the lead in this game off of it. A fastball from Bowser right over the plate, almost unseeable. I think the star hit is what you wanted to see here, but again, they do not spend their star power that way. And Salamander takes the dive. An excellent dive there. I didn't even see that catch get made. But as you watched him dive, you knew Wario was done for before he even came off the ground with the ball.
Okay.
What could have been a great turnaround for the Spitballs was shut down very effectively by the Monsters. And now it is once again up to Wario, the man who couldn't get it done in the last inning, to make sure none of the Monsters can do the same.
It does mean, however, that the Spitballs finally, for the first time this game, cash the check they write. They get 1 in, and though due to unfortunate base running, they immediately fell apart after that. I still think if they're able to get back to that point in their lineup, which there's plenty of time in this game, that could easily turn into a 4-run level situation. But first, they need to get through Bowser. 2 players on 1-3 scoreline. No big home run hit. It's a line drive out to center right. Thermite's running home. Will Toad make the same mistake that was made last inning? No. Toad stays at third. And that does mean that the Monsters get their 3-run lead back with a runner on second, runner on third, and 1 out. The 5th seed Spitballs. All the responsibility in the world on the sub-captain Wario as he starts to tire in the bottom of the 6th. Seeker at the plate.
Another trick ball. Again, these have not ever really worked out. They do hear bad contact by Seeker. Will get a double play off the glove of Blooper, throwing over to Wiggler, who moved to second base.
That does mean the Monsters have regained their 3-run lead, but it's only a 3-run lead. And with 3 innings left to play, 1 explosive inning from the Spitballs could put them right back in this game. First, though, Captain Waluigi has to face off against Captain Bowser. And, well, Bowser, star pitch, fastball right down the middle, another third pitch, star pitch. He never hits just
almost
one.
Certainly gonna be a strikeout. Everyone falls for the Bullet Bills loop-de-loop. That's the second strikeout in this series, and a devastating one, losing the Captain Waluigi, and then Green Drybones hitting right into the range of Bolt's magic grasp.
2 outs now. Alright, Spitballs, here's what they need. the top of the 7th, unless they do a miracle rally in this game. Well, it's a good single from Iwata, but they need a lot more before any points come in. I would like to see 1 or 2 more hits. No, blooper.
Oh no!
Almost saved by the PAL block, but it runs straight into Iwata's skull. I do think, actually, the Spitballs have landed in the batting section of their lineup where they have the best chance to make a huge comeback. Wiggler's up first. Then, let's see, we'll have what? Reggie, Yellow Toad, Miyamoto. Like, that's a great lineup. That's an optimal lineup for the Spitballs to play some small ball. And though Wiggler's brought into pitch...
You got the yellow stretch.
Yeah. Wiggler's brought into pitch, but, well, he successfully navigates the first batter. Second batter, Salamander hits a pop fly to the outfield that's also easily caught by Yellow Toad. And
Just
now...
gotta make it through Bolt now, worst batter on the Monsters lineup. Looking to make those charge hits because that's where he finds his success. Wiggler doesn't have much of a fastball. Looking for trickier balls like these curveball. Able to get a slap out of Bolt, which Blooper is able to easily turn into an out, and that will be a 3-up, 3-down inning. Bringing the Spitballs back up. This is their best chance to turn things around, and one of their last 2. 6 outs between them and elimination. They have to make it count.
Semifinals on the line in 2 innings, and Wiggler steps up with a beautiful slap hit to secure a single. We need to see that play over and over and over again for the Spitballs, but Bowser doesn't want any of it. Star pitch to Reggie to force the first strike. Honestly, this could backfire, but Reggie kind of needs to hit this ball. He does. It's reeled in by Bolt, though, who turns the double play, and now if the Spitballs want any progress in this game, they need to do it with 2 outs on the scoreboard.
That's so devastating for the best small ball part of the Spitballs lineup. Yellow Toad not able to make anything happen, and now it's only 3 outs remain between the Spitballs and elimination. At their next at-bat, they will be starting off with Miyamoto, Wario, Waluigi. Another 3 batters that can absolutely make some magic happen. But first, Wiggler has to stop the Monsters from making anything happen themselves. 2 strikes onto Boo. This high hit is going to curve foul. And then a slap out to center. That's a single.
We've consistently seen the Monsters have some of the best slap hitters consistently across their team. At least for any team that isn't spelled Rookies, but Strawberry slaps it too shallow. Blooper makes the beautiful diving catch and is able to turn the double play before Boo even knows what happened. And just like that, clear bases, 2 outs for Thermite. Wiggler, opportunity to send his team into the 9th with at least something. Does so, despite green shell interference. Excellent awareness from Blooper to make sure that that play is still completed and keep the Spitballs only 3 behind.
If you are the rest of the league, you are watching these playoffs and looking for what players you might be able to poach. I am going to be honest, Willie. We have seen some excellent showings in these playoffs from players that have otherwise gone underappreciated during the rest of the time. Only 2 outs remaining for the Spitballs as Miyamoto's long ball is easily caught. It was a pop fly. A dribbling hit by Wario and missed fire means it's down to the wire for the Spitballs. They can't
Captain versus captain for elimination.
Any more mistakes.
Waluigi
Star pitch 1 from Bowser. Waluigi hits it right to Salamander, and that is the end of the Spitballs' time in the playoffs. The Monsters despite not having the offensive performance, like Spitballs have done an excellent job of shutting down the monsters in this series, but they just aren't able to make anything happen themselves. And the monsters will take 2 games back to back to punch their ticket to the finals.
It was a good effort from the Spitballs, keeping the monsters very honest throughout both games. But double MVP honors to Bowser and excellent slap hits from his team proved just a little bit too much, as the first seed doesn't fall to the curse that was placed earlier in the quarterfinals. They successfully punched their ticket through to a finals appearance in Season 1. Oh boy. Okay, let's give the Spitballs all of their flowers. Now, this team has some of the best players in the league for what they do. Wiggler, who has been such an amazing slap hitter for the Spitballs throughout this entire season. A very fine performance in this game from him. Big old salute to the man. I'm sure he will go very quickly in the draft for Season 2. Wario and Waluigi. The two sub-captains have had a lot of trouble finding their team. Over two captain caliber players, the sub-captain and the captain, have had a lot of trouble finding their team, but it was a great comeback in the middle of the season. While they weren't able to find that 500 mark, ending the season with a record of 6-8, it was more than good enough to secure a playoffs position relatively safely, and I think that both of these shocking brothers can hold their head high, especially after an amazing playoff performance versus the Monarchs in the quarterfinals to get them this far. Any flowers to throw the ways of the Spitballs, Silver Lily?
I just want to give some credit to Blooper, not a batter, but some excellent defensive performance from that player. Was able to get the occasional single, showed up on first base a few times, other times hit into double plays. Not the best offensive player, but an absolute defensive rock at second base. Turned so many crucial double plays. A partnership with Wiggler. You can see that in the electronic scoring that was done here. Blooper was given much more of the credit for a lot of those, and I think I would do the same. And as a floating player, immune to certain effects like the POW block and the Bowser Jr.'s star hit.
Yeah, Blooper
Maybe
really has.
Maybe not the shining star most teams are looking for, but I think teams that are looking for defensive utility players in the future absolutely want to keep their eyes on that squid.
We've seen Blooper turn so many plays that almost no other player in this league could. We've seen POW blocks that have affected everyone on the field, but Blooper results in both extra bases safely, or the only player who's able to make a defensive play and shut down the offense. I think that full hats off, of course, to Yellow Toad on this team after coming over from the Musicians, being an incredible positional player for the Spitballs. Green Dry Bones, who I will always... My boys, the Dry Bones, amazing batters whenever they brought up to the plate. Lots of very fine performances on this team, and while they weren't able to pull it all together against the Monsters defense, well, a very fine performance for them. I'm sure that they're happy to bow out in the semifinals, and I look forward to seeing as many of these players as possible back when we get to Season 2.
And for those in the audience who are not familiar with Galaxy League, it does not have a traditional league off-season. You're not going to see your usual trades and recruits up. You're not going to see a traditional draft from like college players or things like that. That's not how this works. Every team is hacked apart and thrown right back into a drafting pool, and all of the general managers build them back up from scratch. Season to season, We might not even see some of these players next league. I know a lot of players out there in jerseys today. Players like Miyamoto and Reggie and Iwata might not be returning. So when we're talking here about like, oh yeah, Wiggler absolutely goes quickly in the draft, that is what we're talking about here. We cannot imagine that player being a 5th or 6th round pick. That player goes by at least round 3, Willie, right? At least round 3?
I'd be surprised if it was any other way. But while the Spitballs retire out of this league for now, the Monsters, really weird performance from this team, honestly. They get through the semifinals, and despite resetting their offenses a little to put on additional power and pressure, well, they didn't find that many big hits on the scoreboard. Do you think that that is due to an excellent defensive showing for the Spitballs, or do you think that Monsters fans should be worried heading into these finals?
I think it's a little bit of both, Willie. The Monsters just did not find their long balls. Even with star power on Bowser, we saw 2 home runs across 2 games from a team that should be hitting them way more often. But we also saw some amazing defensive plays from the Spitballs, so when they were hitting towards that infield, when they were getting caught by that outfield, it was quick turnarounds, it was double plays, it was shutting down a team that last time they came to this field won by what, 17 points?
Yeah, it was 17-8 as the final scoreboard at the start of the season, though I believe I'm going to hold that that is in part due to the Spitballs finding their footing much earlier in the game here.
Yeah, it's, you know, a incredible when you consider the Spitballs from the beginning of the season playing against the Monsters to playoff Spitballs playing against the Monsters. They absolutely beefed up their defense. They absolutely did. So the Monsters fans might need to be wary because their offense isn't showing up the way they'd like, and it's shown that strong defensive teams can shut them down. What's on the other side of the playoff bracket? Well, you've got the Rookies, offensive team of the league, who prioritized offense all the way down their lineup, and the Flowers, the defensive stars, the ones that are known for turning the most triple plays of any team.
Well,
as well as doubled as well, I believe.
Well, let's find out exactly what the Monsters have to go up against here as we head into Game 1 of our other semi-final. Like you said, it's the Rookies versus the Flowers, and I want to sort of set the tone here. Both the Rookies and the Flowers were teams that were struggling, redeveloped their team, and then came out as powerhouses. The Rookies had that relatively early in the season. Around Series 3, they made a big trade with the Flowers, got both and Brown Critter from them, rebuilt their lineup, and absolutely crushed their way through the rest of the season, ending up with an equal record to the Monsters, only losing out on top seed due to run differential, and then only by a very small amount. I think it was like 4 runs. So the Rookies, after a rough start, came back, rediscovered their team, and absolutely smashed the league. What did the Flowers do? Well, they were a team which at the start of the season, we always said this is the defensive powerhouse of the league. This is the team which we expect no one to be able to score against. And they struggled to capture on that. Their defense was fine, but they never could quite find more than 5 runs. Meanwhile, after Series 6, with their life on the line against the Fireballs, with them having to take that Series 2-0 and Series 7 in order to actually make the playoffs, they reorganize their batting lineup, they storm through the Fireballs, they take a 2-1 quarterfinals victories over the Musicians, who I think we can all agree were heavy favorites in that series, and now they come up against the monster that they helped create. They come up against the Rookies.
And I want to paint a little bit extra on that storyline, Willie. looking back all the way to the Winter CPU Classic, where was Bowser Jr.? Well, Bowser Jr. was on the Flowers with Daisy and Luigi. That team went... I think that team lost every single game they played.
0-5, yes.
0-5. Absolutely destroyed. Daisy, Luigi, Bowser Jr., players that fans were absolutely excited to see, just devastated game after game after game, split apart, completely reformed their teams. Both of them are in the semifinals, and they have to play themselves here. The only way this could have been more poetic is if they were on opposite sides of the bracket and playing each other in the finals.
Oh boy, I didn't even make that connection now. I didn't realize that these captain level players were all on the same team in the Winter CPU Classic, and that definitely adds even more narrative weight onto this game. I think here's the big question. The rookies are the offensive powerhouse of the league, but the Flowers have the best, I think, inarguably after her last couple of performances, the best closing pitcher in the league. Daisy is the only captain tier pitcher with a star pitch that can actually not just force an out, but force double plays in the wrong situation. It can't be charged through. If you slap it, it's a pop fly for an easy out. If you charge it, it's a easy out. Amazing closing potential from the Flowers, and we'll have to see whether or not the rookies are able to break through that.
Absolutely, Willie. Absolutely. This is a terrifying team for the rookies who have relied on good offense all year for their successes, because the Flowers have buffed up their offense while still tightening their defense even further with their lineup changes to add to replace a Yoshi with Daisy and to put the star power on Blue Critter. They pushed both forward at the same time. So it's going to be a big question mark. Last time these two teams played each other, halfway through the season. Post-Rookies rebuild, pre-Flowers reshuffle.
Well, we're going to have to find out now where the storyline falls. Despite two upset in the quarterfinals, the Monsters were the team to break the curse by defeating the Spitballs 2-0, and now responsibility on the rookies. Will we see top two seeds in the finals, or will the Flowers continue their late season resurgence, defeat the rookies, and earn their way into a finals spot after the latest possible rebuild they could have done? We find out now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second semifinal of Grand Slam Galaxy. The Rookies and Flowers best of 3 series starts as the Flowers have home field advantage and choose to take us to a familiar scene. They choose to take us to Bowser Jr.'s playroom.
The favorite stage of defensive teams across the league. Bowser Jr.'s playroom has shut down many an offense, or at least toned them down. The Monsters managed to power through it just a little bit in their last series, but it still kept them to 8. And then surprisingly, Luigi's Mansion did a better job of it. Bowser Jr. is going to punch past the infield right away for a single, but that'll be all that hit is good for. Brock comes up to face down starting pitcher Luigi.
You know, I really want to emphasize too, the Flowers played Bowser Jr.'s playroom. It was actually their pick for home in Series 7, and they did very well on that. That was where we started to see their potential, going 7-3 on that map. Meanwhile, also, the rookies really love Bowser's Castle, the nighttime version of this map. So by going to Junior's playroom, not only do the Flowers get to go to a field where they're very familiar, but they also get the delight of denying the rookies probably a map they would have preferred to run to.
and we got to see the defensive chops at work there. While Bowser Jr. got on right away, Blue Critter turned it into a double play, and then the third batter hit right out to the third baseman. We have now seen an out from Mr. Consistency, who unfortunately does not always live up to his nickname. It'll instead be Tyler 1, who's the first to get on base for the Flowers.
Alright, that leaves Pianta now with the job of advancing the runner. Watches the first pitch from fan favorite Cookie, but with an excellent slap hit and a little bit of a bigger field to roam free in, Blue Pianta manages to get the single and put a runner in scoring position with only one out as Soda Poppin' steps up to the plate.
You okay there, Willie?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm so excited that I'm choked up right now.
Well, Soda Poppins charges at 1, but watches. Looks like he's going to go for the slap. Green Critter will make the dive for the play and turn it over to second to catch out Tyler 1, who had started running too early. That'll be a 4 up, 3 down. 4 up, 3 down situation for the Flowers. And we're going to go to the top of the second with starting pitcher Cookie, starting it off for the rookies.
Even more terrifying is Cookie, well, thankfully if you're a Flowers fan, grounds out. Hammer Bro, the starred hitter. Star DK, arguably the other top hitter in this league, made a mockery of Bowser Jr.'s defenses when he was on here, and Hammer Bro, not able to immediately replicate that success, barely makes it to first after Blue, Yoshi, and Daisy make an excellent defensive play to try to catch him out.
It is now Bouncer up at the plate, the other green jersey for the rookies. It's going to get a good slap that actually makes it past Blue Critter and allow for a single, 2 runners on with up at bat.
Dangerous position, but Luigi's found his way out of this position before what looks like a good hit from if you don't know the positions in baseball, is actually just a straight hit to Baby Daisy in center field, who easily turns the out. But again, with so many home run tier hitters on the rookies, Brown Critter steps up with 2 on the bases, charges, contact not high enough. Daisy makes the snag at the second base position, and the rookies don't find anything at the top of the second.
I think the rookies are the definition of what you were talking about with the monsters. No matter where you end off with their lineup, the next batter coming up is one of the most threatening batters in the game. Is what it seems like every time you're playing against them. So while the Flowers are definitely happy to get out of that situation, they really need to start making the offense happen themselves, because if somebody's going to manage to punch through, well, it's more likely going to be the rookies, just by pure batting strength alone.
Well, it's not looking like it's going to be the Flowers, as they 3 up, 3 out. Baby Daisy, the start of the Daisy chain, isn't able to get much, and just like that, immediately we're back to the rookies, able to try to get some people on the bases. I will say, the question with the rookies versus the Spitballs was who could convert the opportunities given to them. And now it looks like neither the Flowers nor the rookies even want to give up an opportunity in the first place. The only real opportunity that we've had so far was when the rookies had a run on first and second. But if the best opportunity you have in the game is a runner on first and second, you know that it's a defensive game.
Yes, indeed, Willie, and we're still seeing that now. Very familiar situation for the rookies in this game already. Bowser Jr. on first, though this time they've got an out. And it'll be a direct hit from Brock over to Blue Yoshi. It won't be a double play, but it'll still be 2 outs. There is a runner on this time for Green Critter. Let's see where this ball goes. It's right up center, and Green Critter will advance the runner. A little fire doesn't really matter, but people love to set Baby Daisy on fire for some reason.
This could be a disaster. The Flowers need to catch out Cookie. If Cookie is not the third out of the inning, then at the very least, They'll have to deal with bases loaded for Hammer Bro. At the worst, a runner will come in, but Blue Critter successfully snags the ball. Cookie grounds out, and the rookies aren't able to convert a runner in scoring position and are kept scoreless through the top 3.
I'm glad Daisy seems to be feeling better today. She's found her face once more as we start off this inning in the middle of the daisy chain. The Flowers have yet to get through their entire lineup. Meanwhile, the rookies are a few batters into theirs at this point. Daisy, hoping to start things off with a good single, bringing up Daisy Prime. She's gonna charge and swing, but that will turn foul.
Captain, with an opportunity, swings and hits for the fences. That means that we'll at least have a runner on third, and Mr. Consistency comes up the top of the order for the Flowers. The first time a runner has touched third base so far this game. No outs on the board. Mr. Consistency.
Good position for the Flowers. He watches one. I think he swings at this one. He charges up, he swings. It'll go right to Hammer Bro, who will turn the double play. But that does bring a runner in. Not what he was hoping for with that hit, but it does still give the Flowers a lead if it is a hard bought run. It's still a run.
The
Price to pay, Tyler 1 ended the inning by hitting over to Green Critter.
Yeah, incredible position from the Flowers. Base runners on the corners, no outs. Immediately the rookies turn around and clean that up as best they can. But hey, they let up one run, and the question that we saw in the last series was who converts. And while it's not a clean conversion, it's still a run scored and an excellent opportunity for the Flowers. And Hammer Bro.
Good long ball by Hammer Bro, not the home run, but that's incredibly difficult to get on this map.
Oh, awkward base running.
A bit of a bad base running means that we end up with an out at second. That is definitely a base running error by Hammer Bro. Uncertain if it was going to be caught or not, and gets caught between first and second when it isn't an out. Bouncer, of course, isn't just going to return to home. So Hammer Bro goes out at second.
Yeah, I think Hammer Bro genuinely thought that Daisy caught that ball and was like, oh my god!
What? Can I get an instant replay on that? Holy.
No, you cannot. Blue Critter, a deep hit to left field, caught out by the left fielder of, on this team, Daisy? Who brings it into Blue Critter, who with that little bit of extra star power behind him fires a laser to first, and it's one of the rarest double plays, a pop fly, or a pop to left field, caught out and brought to first before the runner can safely tag back up again.
We almost never see that, but when we do see it, it's the Flowers pulling it off. We're going to start this inning off with a single from Blue Pianta, followed by a single from Soda. Runners on first and second. Star player Blue Critter steps up to the plate. Cookie has a difficult job ahead of her if she's going to navigate her way out of the inning. A good weak hit from Blue Critter, and fielder's choice will be to get the double play at first and second instead of taking the out at third. That leaves Blue Pianta in scoring position. Blue Yoshi stepping up, but one of the weaker hitters, though a hit like that is going to be good enough when you've got Boo support. Hammer Bro is able to find it even while it's invisible and reel it in, but the close play gives Blue Yoshi plenty of time to run all the way to second.
It was only a close play because of Hammer Bro's absolutely cannon of an arm turning into a problem for him, though, there, as that, well, close play, Blue Pianta knocking Bowser Jr. out of the way is what allowed Blue Yoshi to get to scoring position second base. So now the Flowers with a 2-run lead, but Baby Daisy not able to keep the rally going. A good star hit attempt, but more than enough grip on the ball from rookie's third baseman, Bouncer. to keep the grip on and stop the inning for the Flowers.
A good dive by Daisy will shut down that bad contact by Brown Critter. It is by no means over for the rookies, but on a stadium like this, being even 2 runs down is such a rough position, especially when that's the contact your players are finding. Another hit right into the ground, this time by John Cena, and it looks like Bowser Jr. is going to try and do whatever it takes to get his team back in the game here. The paintball double off that star hit, trying to start things off, putting himself in scoring position for Brock. Brock, can you find the hit off Mr. Consistency? Can you find the hit off this star pitch? He's gonna power through it. That means it's gonna go high. There is shell support. Is it fired? It's fired, but not in time. Blue Critter keeps his glove on it and gets the out.
Just like that, the top of the 5th turns into yet another 0 for the rookies, as for the first time all in so long. When was the last time they were kept to 0 through 5 innings? I'm not sure since they're rebuilding.
I don't think since their second game of the season, Willie.
Well, Daisy, Captain Daisy, drills a hit through for a single, and I'm gonna get that stat. Let's take a look.
Go get that stat. I'll commentate for a bit. Mr. Consistency going for a bunt with the second and third members of the Daisy chain on base, looking to advance the runners, and is going to do so. That is all it's good for. Second and for the 2 Daisies on base right now. Tyler 1 up, hits a long ball out to the right spot in right field with a little pow block support. That's going to be another 2 running in as Tyler 1 takes the double. What was looking bad for the rookies looks worse, as this very defensive field has been cracked open by the small ball play of the Flowers. Blue Peon to up, and Cookie is still staying strong despite the number that have run in. Brock will take that one for the out, doesn't throw it over to third, allowing Tyler 1 to advance. Scoring position for Tyler 1, but with 2 outs. All the Flowers need to find is the out at first. They'll find the out in right field, as the ball does not drop anywhere but O's glove, and end the inning. Rookies now have a 4-run deficit they need to make up, and it has to start here with Green Critter. At least they're hoping to.
Let me tell you this fun stat. You know the last time the rookies have gone this time without scoring?
When was the last time?
Never!
Literally never.
The latest they've gone without scoring a run that I can tell from a quick glance through was inning 5 in Playday 3 versus the Fire Eggs, when they scored 6 in inning 5 to score their only 6 for their game. They won that game 1-6 though, so good on them. So they have never gone to a 6th inning in any game in Grand Slam Galaxy history without getting a run. Even back in Playday 1, where they lost that game 1-20 long before they rebuilt their team, their first run, their only run in a 20-1 loss, was in the first inning.
And now they have 2 outs and a runner on first, as the 6th inning goes very similar to the rest of them for them. They just cannot crack the Flowers defense on the Flowers field. Maybe Bowser Jr.'s field, but this is the Flowers field.
Now Blue Critter, the starred player, up to the bat and the bottom of the 6th, caught out by Brown Critter. So that's out number 1. Cookie's still going strong. It should be pointed out, the starting pitcher for the rookies, still with plenty of gas left in the tank in the bottom of the 6th. And the rookies have 3 half innings left to score 4 runs right now. But after they catch the first two, Baby Daisy steps up to the plate, has to watch the first strike swing by. Second pitch, slaps it, but grounds out. And the rookies produce an excellent defense to force 3 up, 3 out from the Flowers. But now they have 3 chances left to bring themselves back into this game. We've talked so many times before about how every section of the rookies' offense is terrifying. And as hits the single to start off the top of the 7th, well, who should come up to the plate but Brown Critter?
Brown Critter charges and looks at one, charges again, going for a long ball. It looks like it might go over the fence. We're gonna see a buddy jump attempt, and they do just barely make the out. Forced to tag back at first. It was close, but a high ball like that gives the outfield all the time they need to try and get into position.
I have to double check now, as it's the baby players who typically have the
I don't think Daisy has super jump.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Baby Daisy actually has a very similar defensive ability that's good in the infield to the Hammer Bros, or to the Bros and the Magic Koopas. A double play turned off the hit of John Cena as it goes right into Daisy's glove at second base. She turns it over to first to lock up the inning. And now it is similar to the Spitballs as they were in Game 2. 6 outs between the rookies and defeat in this game.
Yeah,
6 outs.
They'll only go
4-run
down.
lead, and they've got to shut this down now.
For a second there, I thought that was going to stay in from Captain Daisy, but the 9th batter in the order is just as dangerous as anyone else. Not dangerous enough. There was a weirdly weak throw from Bouncer that looked like it was going to fail to make the play. Turns the double play. And now, while the Flowers are back at the top of their order, Mr. Consistency steps up. They've got no runners on. They've got 2 outs against them and a good single. Well, unless they start that 2-out rally, shouldn't be enough to strike that much fear into this rookie's defense. Tyler 1 watches the first pitch.
He's going to swing on the second, but it'll be an out directly to Green Critter. That is what the rookies need to see right now. They cannot afford to let the Flowers score any more runs. The captain steps up. Out number 1 of 6. Potentially at the plate here. Needs to make sure it isn't him. A weak hit is gonna make sure it is, as Blue Critter easily fields that over to first before Bowser Jr. can make it. Brock steps up. 5 outs remaining. Watches 2. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 slap hit. Daisy makes an early jump, but still catches it on the way back down. 4 outs remain, and it's Green Critter up with no on and no points. That's gonna curve way foul and way out there. Charging up one last time. You don't usually see charge hits on the potential third strike, but Green Critter is determined to find it and gets a single off a good line drive to left field. Now it's Cookie's turn, but Cookie's slap is going to make it in time. Fire barely missing Green Critter and finding the mark on Daisy puts 2 on for Hammer Bro. If any player is the one that's gonna make this happen, it's him. He's gonna line drive. He's gonna foul with that line drive, but charges up a second time, finds it again. It's long, it's deep. Baby Daisy's not there in time. That hits the back wall for a 3-run home run, and the 4-run deficit is cut down to 1 in an instant on a 2-out rally by the rookies.
Just like that, the number 2 seed in the league proves why they stood head and shoulders above so many other teams. The Flowers have had an excellent late season comeback, but while they're still in the lead this game, they do have to ice it They have a 1-run lead heading out of the top of the 8th. They'll have, worst case scenario, 2 more at-bats, and this one is looking like it could be devastating. Blue Pianta, Soda Poppin', starred player Blue Critter. That is not who you want to see coming up next in a crucial situation like this. But good news, unlike...
not going to start it off.
Yeah,
and I have to mention, Willie, Cookie is not tired yet. Luigi is. Cookie is not. If Cookie makes it through this inning, she might just last longer than Luigi does in this game. Another easily fielded by Hammer Bro to put the Flowers on 2 outs for star player Critter. A Critter started the rally off for the rookies. Are they going to do the same for the Flowers, especially with a little star power? A line drive foul looks a little familiar, but we're not going to see a charge hit. Blue Critter's going to favor the slap. It's going to be enough for a single going sailing over the head of Hammer Bro. And now it's Blue Yoshi, the last player the Flowers want to see in a position like this. Their weakest batter, largely a defensive utility outfielder, still with a good charge. Charges just a bit too much. Sails over the heads of the infield, but too far and into the glove of Brown Critter in the outfield.
Speaking
3
of,
outs remain.
The
Rookies have
outfield,
to score at least 1.
the outfield for the rookies is their last stand. Batters 7, 8, and 9. Brown Critter and John Cena. The last 3 batters in this game, or the start of the, or the ones to really reel in this comeback.
Luigi's trying to make sure it's the last 3 batters with that star pitch, but doing possibly the smartest thing you can do there and fouling it off. An excellent pow block will prevent the out at first. She will remain there, and it will force Daisy into closing time.
What did I say at the start of this series? I said that Daisy is possibly the scariest closing pitcher in this league, and the hit from Brown Critter goes straight to the third baseman for 2 outs. If the rookies want back into this game, they need to find the last run with 2-out pressure on them. John Cena now reels it in, hits it deep, too deep. Baby Daisy makes the snag in center field, and the Flowers hang on after an attempt at a rookie's comeback to keep this game, win their home game in the semifinals. 4-3 for the Flowers victory.
What a game that was, and I think the field really worked in the Flowers' favor here. There were a lot of plays by the rookies that might have gone better on a different field that the Flowers' defense was able to keep completely locked down. This is the kind of game the Spitballs wanted to have, but the Flowers have the better defense and the better offense. They were just better able to make this field work. Meanwhile, the rookies, because of the Flowers defense, unable to find that success that their parent team of the Monsters did. And we will be going to game 2 with the rookies a game down. They are going to, what is their stadium pick? They are going to Wario City Night in an attempt to turn this series around. It has to start there on almost exactly the opposite kind of field from Bowser Jr.'s playroom.
Yeah, well, the excellent 3-run homer from Hammer Bro kept the rookies in this game right down to their last at-bat. Well, if you have to pick anyone to be favored in Wario City, it's the team which has struck such an offensive presence throughout so much of this game. They were shut down pretty handily in Bowser Jr.'s playroom by the Flowers. Full credit to the Flowers for having an extra defense, but it should be pointed out, look at this, the MVP for the Flowers of Daisy only coming through with a box score total of 60. That's an incredibly low, maybe one of the lowest MVP scores that we've seen in Grand Slam Galaxy.
I think it is the lowest, Willie. Mirrored by many players on the rookies. emblematic of the game the Flowers played here. They did exactly enough to take that win. Exactly the right amount of defense, exactly the right amount of offense to get them through it. 1-run lead right at the end.
Well, 1-run lead turns into a 1-game lead in the semifinals, the second semifinal of today. We have the 6th seed, the Flowers, after an impressive showing in the quarterfinal / play-ins to get themselves here, having to defeat the 2nd seed, the Bowser Jr. Rookies. And whereas the Rookies have been the offensive powerhouse, the Flowers have shown up on the defense and have had just enough power over the Rookies to get that 1-run win on a very defensive field. Now, the Rookies, with home field advantage, turn to their advantage, turn to their strength, turn to Wario City, a slugger's paradise. I would say even more so than some of the other fields that we've been like, oh yes, this is great for sluggers, Daisy Cruiser or whatever. But no, Wario City has been so great for them. But it should be said,
I was going to say, I do want to point out that Wario City was the site of Game 3 of the Flowers game versus the Musicians, another team that was said to be very offensively slugging oriented. The Musicians completely fell apart in that game, and the Flowers scored like 12, I believe. What was that? What was that run count? It was 13. They scored 13 in that game.
So, whereas the Flowers successfully shut down an incredible offense from the Musicians to get themselves here, if they want to advance to the finals in 2, they have to do the exact same type of performance versus the Rookies, who, of all teams, are one of the best teams to take to Wario City. So if the Flowers are able to win big here, they won't just have punched their ticket to the playoffs, they will have gone so far and beyond in earning it. From 6th seed to a finals position, well, if they want that, they have to win Game 2 of the semifinals. All the players look set. I believe that we're ready to start, so we're not going to drag this one out. We're going to head straight into Game 2 of the semifinals as the Rookies take home field advantage and look to face off and score a win in the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 2 of the playoff series as the Flowers head to the Rookies' home turf.
All right, it'll be the Flowers up at bat first here, and I do have to give credit for pitching that to Cookie for pitching that entire game. Didn't get a chance to pitch the 9th inning, but that does count as a complete if a game lost for Cookie. We are going to see Cookie start it off now, and she's got to hope for a little bit of better support from her defense. We'll see it right away with Mr. Consistency's first hit being reeled in by a Hammer Bro.
Tyler 1 tries to sneak something up the middle, but not nearly enough power behind it as Hammer Bro also turns that out. The man who no doubt should, if the Rookies show up, be the offensive playmaker for them, is involved in all 3 outs in the first inning.
And that's the kind of play we're used to seeing from the Bros. Devastating on offense, excellent infielders on defense, almost uncrackable. We saw that from the Monarchs throughout the season. It was the Spitballs that eventually were able to crack through them and put them out of the playoffs before falling to the Monsters themselves. And now it is the Flowers' job to try and get past that Hammer Bro again. But first they got to do it on offense, with Bowser Jr. on, Brock up, and Green Critter to follow.
Blue Critter tries to turn the double play, but in something that can just happen in these tense playoff positions, or when one of the players is starred, they miss the throw to Daisy a little bit too fast on that one. Not mattering as much, though, as Green Critter, the person that we would expect to make the first home run of the game, hits it straight to the third baseman. Soda Poppin turns the double play with Daisy, and the Flowers stabilize off of what could have been a devastating play. But how long will that stabilization last?
Yeah, they defuse the situation a little, but 2 are on, and it's Hammer Bro up to the plate. Star player, star slugger, Wario City, that's gone. Foul.
Nope.
That's gone foul.
I'm not even sure Hammer Bro left home base there. He just hit it and was like, yeah, I know it's foul. All right, 2 runners on, 3-run chance, and just like at the end of last game, Hammer Bro hits a big 3-run homer. But it's not the end of the game, it's just the start, as 2 3-run homers in 2 semifinals games sets the tone for Hammer Bro on Wario City.
That's exactly what the rookies have been looking for all series. They got a little bit at the end of game 1, and now they're getting it right at the start of game 2. We're going to see another Jersey player, Bouncer, get on. Some excellent performance. They had not been showing up as much in the first game. Now they're the ones on the bases consistently. Powblock is going to let run to second. Bouncer considers running home, but does not do so, and it would be Brown Critter up to the plate. Another slugger, another home run chance. It's going to be a deep hit, just foul.
I'm going to point out.
Luigi, Mr. Consistency after a great pitching performance in game 1, struggling right at the start of game 2. But this is kind of what we expected on Wario City. Maybe not right away, as the rookies are already at they're 8 players deep. 8 players deep into their lineup. John Cena is the 8th player. He will finally be the one to end it. Huh?
He's the 9th
Is he
player.
the 9th?
Yep.
Yeah, he's the 9th. I thought it was 8th, but then I saw Bowser Jr. and I thought, no, Bowser Jr. is 9th, isn't it? But making it through, the rookies making it through their entire lineup in the first inning, batting the round, even if John Cena doesn't make it on. Some excellent play and exactly the kind of offense they weren't able to scrape together in the first one. Now it's the Flowers on the back foot, where you never want to be as the defensive team.
Wario City. Actually, wait. No, it's not the star that troubles. Green Critter not able to make what you would expect to be a very routine catch from him, but that allows not just Blue Critter to touch first base, but to touch second. The double, assisted by the outfield arrows, means that with no outs, the Flowers start this inning in scoring position. But a catch by Green Critter turns the double play and instantly turns a beautiful position into still a good one, still a fine one, but thankfully for the rookies, able to turn that double and stop any potential at a big blowout inning from the Flowers. Baby Daisy, the star of the daisy chain, needs to try to advance this runner home from third. No. Her pop fly to center field, caught out by Brown Critter, and it goes from good to bad to worse as the Flowers are kept silent at the top of the second.
With Baby Daisy, I feel like every time she steps up to the plate, you're either about to see a 3-Daisy rally, just back to back to back, or you're about to see the inning end. This series, we've been seeing the inning end, and the rookies are continuing like they began with a single from Bowser Jr. to bring up Brock. Brock hitting it up the center for another single. 2 on again. 11 players with 8 hits for the rookies.
And with that, Bowser Jr. heads home off Critter's line drive and run number 5. No outs on the board. Runners on the quarter. Luigi tiring out at the bottom of the second. A huge defensive play needs to be made, but a good slap hit from Cookie. Pow block stuns Baby Daisy. The runners choose to play it safe, though, and we've got loaded bases for Hammer Bro.
Player Hammer Bro. He's charging up. It's a line drive. Hey, have you ever seen a grand slam before?
In this galaxy? No. All
The
right.
exact opposite game of Game 1 of the series. The exact opposite of Game 3 of the last one. As the Flowers are unable to make anything happen, and this time the slugging team is in their element. They are not falling apart, and there is no circus music for the rookies today. As Bouncer hits a clean line drive up left center for an unassisted double.
I think Baby Daisy bobbled that. Oh, hits a bunt. Fireball. Well, catches both, but doesn't matter as much, as that still will allow Tyler 1 to recover and hit the out at first base. Bouncer, though, reaches third. And now Daisy against Brown Critter. Deep hit to right field. This is not out of there. Blue Yoshi and Baby Daisy barely make it in time, but it'll be a sacrifice that will allow Bouncer to reach home and score the 10th run for the rookies in only 2 innings.
Blue Critter finally able to shut it down, but we're already 10 runs in and 2 pitchers deep for the Flowers. Daisy, second player of the Daisy chain, starting it off for the Flowers. Their first few innings have basically been almost the same, but the rookies have been completely different. And this time, Daisy will have no luck getting onto first base. Captain Daisy up for her first at-bat of the game, already seeing her team 10 runs down. Looks at one and misses the second for 2 strikes.
Weak hit, but the green shell saves? Yes, the green shell barely saves her.
Barely.
As she manages to knock home a single. Luigi now, Mr. Consistency. Well, finally steps back up to his nameplate. A single of his own to put a runner on first, runner on second. It's a very, very deep hole that the Flowers need to climb themselves out of, but play like that is exactly what they need. Tyler 1, though. Oh, I thought that maybe the POW block would save him, but no. Hammer Bro turns the double play with milliseconds to spare. The Flowers are shut down at the top of the third, and now we're right back again. This is the 3rd inning in a row that Bowser Jr. start off the batting for the rookies.
This time he'll start off with 2 strikes, and Daisy is looking for the star pitch just to make sure this gets locked down. There's no item support, so this will be the easiest pickup of Blue Critter's life. And that will be the first time a rookie's inning has started with an out instead of a single. Brock didn't get the memo. He's still getting a single.
All right. Critter, I think, is the last. Has Brown Critter hit a home run already this game?
I don't think we've seen one from Brown Critter.
Well, it's a pop fly.
And we're going to see this time item assisted, so it'll be enough to force Luigi off. That's the big danger of Daisy's star pitch, is they have all the time in the world to fire an item.
Now, the Flowers desperately need some sort of big defensive play here, and with Cookie hitting it right to Luigi, the double play ends the inning right before Hammer Bro comes up, and finally, a scoreless inning for the rookies shows some defensive potential from the Flowers. So, well, can they start this 10-run run back? Well, it'll be the greatest comeback that we've ever seen in Grand Slam Galaxy, but Blue Pianta tries it. The fireball, though, not nearly enough as Hammer Bro positions himself to easily pick that ball up and fire off the out at first.
It's Soda up now. Gotta try and start this off for the Flowers. It'll be a hit right over to Hammer Bro. Goodbye. That's an out at first.
Blue Critter, starred player. Someone needs to open up this offense, and Blue Critter hits it deep. Will make it in time? Yes. That's 3 up, 3 out, and despite the attempt at Blue Critter to hit the first home run for the Flowers, well, he's shut down in the outfield And once again, nothing to speak of from the Flowers.
With 4 scoreless innings on the board on Wario City, it does really look like this is not the Flowers' game to win. Right now, it is the Rookies' game to lose. It's going to be a line drive up the center and a burnt baby for Hammer Bro. We've seen that so many times before. That'll be a single to start off the inning. Daisy's got to try and navigate through the remaining jerseys to try and get her team through this without the lead getting any worse.
Look, any at-bat where Hammerboat doesn't hit a home run is a good at-bat for the defense. But when Bouncer immediately follows it up, puts a runner on first, runner on second, well, at some point, Daisy's going to need to step up here. And worst of all, oh boy, I actually thought Blue Critter was going to fire that too fast, but Luigi gets there just in time to turn the double play. Triple denied by Bouncer's quick reflexes, but it does mean that there's 2 outs now against the Rookies. Run on first. Brown Critter steps up to the plate, knocks it deep, but doesn't knock it fast enough. Baby Daisy and Blue Yoshi make the catch and end the inning, stopping the Rookies yet again with a 0-run inning for them. 2 plays, 1 call, 1 half inning. You know, if this game was in binary, it'd be close. I still am kind of scared.
Willie, if this game wasn't binary, that would be the 10th time you've made that joke.
Shit, that's good. Well, the first at-bat for the Flowers denied. Baby Daisy now the start of the Daisy chain. Green Shell denies Hammerbow and keeps the momentum, meaning that ball will fly all the way out into right field, and Baby Daisy will snag a triple thanks to that Green Shell interference.
The triple. You don't see that too often, but it's a great sign for the Daisy chain. The Daisy's got to step up and continue it now. Cookie still pitching. Pow block for this one. The Hammer Bro goes wide, and the pow block comes in to knock Brown Critter on his butt and just make sure both players get the one base they need to grab. Baby Daisy comes in, and the Flowers finally open up the scoreboard. Here's Daisy Prime, as I've been calling her, stepping up, charging up, getting a line drive with some redirection for another single, and the Daisy chain complete what they need to do, and all of them get on back to back to back, with one of them coming in. It's up to Mr. Consistency to drive in anything else. He's going to find the slap. It's not going to fly past the Hammer Bro, and with the Daisies running too far, he has his choice of double play to end the inning.
That means that the Flowers do successfully score something, but, well, at the top of the 5th, is this anything? Or will that 9-run hole they find themselves in be too much even on this type of Slugger's Paradise? Well, if the Rookies have anything to say about it, yes. First, though, Blue Critter makes the good diving play to catch out John Cena, and we're back to the top of the Rookies' batting order. Captain Bowser Jr. here to keep his team just absolutely blasting through the defense in the bottom of the 5th. Slap hit, caught by Luigi. It does mean that in a very uncharacteristic start, that's 2 outs against the Rookies now in the bottom of the 5th. And a star pitch from Daisy.
It'll go high, but there is a pow block coming in. Neither of them takes the bullet to make sure the other can grab it. And it will be a single from Brock off that star pitch. Critter gets another good hit, this time to left field with the slap, puts 2 on, and Daisy is starting to tire. Who do you think steps up third for this team, Willie?
I'm not sure.
Do you think it really matters?
I think it does. I think that I could maybe, funnily enough, see so many players step up. The worst possible player that I would dread to see is the right fielder, Blue Yoshi. because that means that there would be no chemistry in the right side of the field. Daisy can sub in for...
Wow, that was an out.
Yeah, actually.
That was a very close out. Tyler won. Probably mad about that one. I think I can see him arguing with the ref.
Well, Blue Pianta doesn't have much success either. The bomb from Soda Popping at least frustrates Brown Critter, but no, 3 up, 3 out after Hammer reels that hit in. And, well, the rookies, they haven't been able to do much in 3 innings, but they continue to keep the Flowers absolutely shut out. And now Daisy has to find her way past Hammer Bro. Any hit here can turn into a big home run.
Charge up, doesn't find it. In fact, will find a shot up first baseline. Goes right into Tyler One's glove for the easy out. Daisy still just getting tired. She is not happy on the mound out there. That's in. That landed right on the line. And it will be a single from Bouncer, starting a rally. We'll see. Potentially a rally. With stepping up to bat. Not always the best offensive performer for her team, and the best defensive performer possibly in the game, who isn't a bro, is gonna shut it right down.
Blue Critter, amazing diving catch backwards to turn that double play, and again, that laser of an arm. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised or disappointed to see Blue Critter step onto the mound next, but Daisy did manage to last through the 6th at least. So whoever steps up for the Flowers has a big job ahead of them, but at least the longer Daisy lasts, the shorter that job needs to be. Blue Critter, though, who is one of those players that needs to hit the huge home runs, settles for a single, and Blue Yoshi is not exactly the deepest hitter. Critter manages to nab that one and turn the double play.
Critters have, I think, been a little underrated as defensive players this season. We used to credit Brown Critter with being an excellent defender, but didn't really give that during the CPU Classic, but didn't really extend that to any of the other Critters. Blue Critter really stepped up, but I don't think we've been paying enough attention to just Critter. And heck, Salamander's been an infielder. Not been as lauded as some of the others. We will actually see a good hit from Daisy here as the Daisy Chain does what the Daisy Chain does and puts 2 on. 3rd Daisy up, she's going to watch 1. But as I was saying, the Critters have actually been excellent, consistent defenders for all of their teams. Daisy hits it just a bit too far. John Cena takes it, and the Daisy Chain will go home with nothing this time. The only part of the team that's been able to score, and they've only done it once.
Now Daisy, as she continues to tire these inside pitches to try to fake out Brown Critter. Daisy needs to sprint, but baby Daisy makes the catch on that hit from Brown Critter and stops another potential home run hit from the rookies. Again, this almost makes me curious because while the rookies had an amazing start to their offense in this game, the Flowers have turned right back around and shut it down. The only problem is that, well, they're going to be 9 runs in the hole at least heading into the last 2 innings. Daisy's tiring, so their pitching staff will have even more trouble. She continues to hold on through the bottom of the 7th maybe as she tries to pitch through Bowser, who hits a deep hit, but the outfield is there to make the buddy jump. 3 nice outs against the rookies keep them quiet for the 5th inning in a row.
And it looks like the story of this game may have taken place entirely in the first 2 innings, with a couple of explosive ones from the rookies and the Flowers just unable to make anything happen themselves. But neither team has been able to make anything happen. We've seen 1 run since the 2nd. Mr. Consistency's hitting it out. The game goes the way his bat goes. I think it's going to be over after 1 more inning. This half inning and the next one.
I was going to say, if the Flowers really want back into this game, they need to copy the success of the rookies and go from the top to the bottom of the order in 1 run. and Luigi does not give a good omen to the team. Tyler 1 at least hits a single with a good hit up to center field. Blue Pianta, slider, slaps it. Good hit out to right field. The boo interference will let Tyler run for third. Blue Pianta even runs for second, which is surprising to see from such a slow
greedy,
runner.
But he is going to be okay.
That means that Soda Poppin', runner on second, runner on third. Good chance here if he can keep up the success. Good hit out to center right field. That'll drive in two. Yes, Blue Pianta makes this with plenty of time.
Blue Pianta makes that, yeah.
Okay.
Some good hitting from the blue flowers. There are kind of two sections of flowers. You have the blue section of the flowers, and then the orange section of the flowers, and they're broken up by Luigi. And that will be enough to finally get Cookie to tire for the first time in this series. Bowser Jr. finally taking the mound. Is going to immediately throw a ball that Blue Critter's all too happy to get all of. And that'll be a 2-run home run. That puts the Flowers at 5. It's the best way they can get to begin a comeback, but they still only have 5 outs remaining. They have as many outs remaining as they have points they have to get to even tie it.
Blue Yoshi
I don't think the rookies should be too worried just yet, especially with Blue Yoshi being the one to step up to the plate. It's almost a surefire out every time, and it is this one. And now it's up to the Daisy chain to keep things alive in this inning. Starting off with Baby Daisy charges, but looks at one, charges, strikes on the second, or strikes swinging on the second, and another paintball. Bowser Jr. looking to just wrap things up. It will find the out. Bowser Jr. takes the first strikeout of the series, and it'll be the rookie's chance to put the Flowers in the ground by scoring a few more here. Or maybe pull the Flowers out of the ground, given their flowers, but you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, still 4 runs in one inning. Fair credit to the Flowers to immediately put pressure back on, but now Daisy needs to last through just another inning. She's been tied for almost 3 now, and a star hit to Green Critter. He sees through that. More than enough baseball IQ not to swing on an immediate death sentence, but he immediately strikes out, and that means that the captains do strikeouts back to back. Immediately.
Baseball IQ there was about as real as actual IQ is, Willie.
Yeah, did he not swing because he was too smart, or did he not swing because he was somewhere else? Well, regardless, Cookie also grounds out as Blue Critter cleans up that inning. The swap finally happens, by the way. Soda Poppin' taken in from third base, which is one of the best closes the Flowers could hope for, I think. And now it all comes down to this. With Daisy up to bat, the Flowers need 5 in 1 inning, and a great slap hit from the fake immediately starts off that inning well. Captain Daisy versus Captain Bowser Jr. now.
Captain Daisy finds all of it. It's gonna be long, but looks like it's gonna be an easy catch for John Cena. The green shell comes in, and he actually just drops it. It wasn't in position, and the ball goes fair before the shell even hits him. 2 on, and we're going to see a star pitch from Bowser Jr. Mr. Consistency watches that one. Swings at the second. It's a slap, but it's a slap grabbed by Green Critter, turned into a double play. And now there's 1 on, 1 out, and 5 runs at least left to get for the Flowers. Tyler 1 has to start the magic. Another star pitch from Bowser Jr. He's giving it everything he's got to try and close this out. Tyler 1 going to foul it away.
Daisy kept honest at first base by Bowser Jr. Kept honest twice. Intimidation tactics. Maybe a reminder of watch out. You need to just not watch out for me, but my entire team as Hammer Bro reels in the hit, the third out, and the rookies do so much damage early on that the Flowers comeback proves impossible, icing Game 2 on Wario City in Well, a much lower scoring game than maybe we were expecting, especially after that start.
And speaking of icing, that's what's going to be happening for this third game as both teams are heading to Peach's Ice Garden, quite possibly the biggest wildcard stadium in the entire league. We have seen teams just play completely differently from normal there. A well-deserved MVP by Hammerbro on this game, though.
Yep, immediately with all the offense that the rookies were able to stack up. I gotta say though, if I were the rookies, I'd be kind of scared. They had an incredible showing at the start, but were completely shut down by the Flowers throughout the rest of the game. And while yes, that initial offense was way too much for the Flowers to catch up on, it means that the rookies, their only offense comes in for this series. Let's double check here. They managed to score in the 8th inning of last game, not in the 9th, then in the 1st and 2nd of this game. So they only in a 4-inning stretch across both games were able to score. Heading to Peach's Ice Garden, is this a sign that maybe the Flowers defense is alive enough to pull this one out, or will the rookies prove way too much?
I guess we're going to see. It is the kind of stadium that takes your traditional, your not traditional, your existing schemas, shall we say, for anyone who knows that word, and rips them apart because it has long dimensions, ice physics, and just weird field hazards. Any defense can fall apart, any offense can explode.
Well, no pressure, but after the coin flip, before this series actually started to determine who would get home run advantage on on Peach's Ice Garden falls to, well, the Flowers. Which means that in a series where home team has won both their games so far, Flowers have home field advantage on Peach's Ice Garden. Now, they didn't pick Peach's Ice Garden. Arguably, the rookies picked Peach's Ice Garden by letting that slip through to the final tiebreaker position. But it does mean that both the Flowers and the rookies have to deal with a bit of a slap-heavy stadium. Now, if I had to equate this stadium to any other field in the league, it would be Junior's Playroom, which the Flowers did take earlier in this series. So the question now becomes, when the possibility of those big home run hits is taken away from them, can the Juniors outscore? What do you make of this stadium for both of these teams?
Well, it has taken away some of the home run potential. It is even harder to hit a home run here than it is on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom. The field itself is actually far more disruptive. I had been mentioning just the first game of the series that I had never actually seen those field hazards on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom make an impact on a play. That is not the case for the ices you see around Peach's Ice Garden. They are freezing players and getting in their way all the time. So a good long ball offense can still thrive here just by letting the field do what it does and disrupt any attempts at defense.
Well, we won't hold this one off any longer. It's 1-1 in the series. The 6th seed Flowers look to continue their redemption arc, whereas the rookies look to hold it together and punch their ticket into the finals against Bowser's team. Bowser Jr. now, pressure's on. Flowers, pressure's on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 3 of this semifinals as both teams head to look who will be given the cold shoulder and who can run hot on Peach's Ice Garden. I love this stadium.
I've only seen this stadium like twice.
Maybe because of the monsters both times. Let's double.
I think so, Willie. And I
No,
think the monster...
the rookies have played here before, right?
I don't know.
Also, so the Monsters went here in the preseason. The Spitballs and Musicians went here and played a 3, and Monsters and Fire Eggs went here and played a 10. So twice for the Monsters, once for the Spitballs and the Musicians. Neither of these teams, the Flowers or the Rookies, have been here.
It's going to start off with a couple of quick outs for the Rookies as Luigi locks things down. Very similarly to the first inning of that last game, the power block is not going to hit the field in time. Daisy makes the catch and locks up the Rookies. A much better start for the Flowers than they found in the first inning of the previous game.
I'm very curious here. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but feel in my gut that we have seen a home run previously on the stadium. A weird bobble from but it won't be of much consequence as Brown Critter quickly picks it up. It's only a single for Mr. Consistency. Tyler 1 now. Here's what I know from this game. If you can find a clean line drive up center left or center right, that's basically a triple straight off the bat. So many teams have taken advantage of that particular hole in the defense and how difficult it can be for the outfielders to hit that particular kind of ball. So, with Blue Pianta aiming but not quite finding the slot and putting runners on the corners, it looks like the Flowers, with Soda Poppin' stepping up, have a good chance here to open up the scoring.
The Rookies have only managed to find one out so far, and they did it with the assistance of the Hammer Bro reel-in. That will be a sacrifice fly from Soda. Luigi actually staying at third and waiting for the ball to fall in so he can tag up and run home. Blue Pianta not getting too far ahead of first base to give them the opportunity for the double play that might shut him down either. It's Blue Critter up, star player Blue Critter. An offensive powerhouse, hasn't had it today and isn't going to have it here as another pop fly falls into Brown Critter's glove to end the inning, but the Flowers start it off with 1 run in the first.
I wouldn't be surprised if that 1-run lead evaporated here. If there's any player, there are 2 players who I would look at and who I would bet on to be able to hit a home run on Peach's Ice Garden. The first, Donkey Kong. The second, Hammer Bro. And, well, after an at-bat from Cookie where she grounds out to the second base player, Daisy, welcome Hammer Bro.
We'll see if Hammer Bro has it. Hammer Bro is going to hit a weak grounder that has just enough momentum to get past the infield and the pitcher for a single. It's not the home run his team was probably hoping for.
Daisy bobbles the
bobble
catch,
from
though, that
Captain
could have ended
Daisy.
the inning and allows runner on first, runner on second, only 1 out, and up to the plate. I really do think that the jerseys here are some of the batters you would look at to find that excellent offensive slap power on this field. But no, Blue Critter stops what would have been an amazing hit and turns the double play to keep the Rookies scoreless through the second.
And that is going to be painful for the Rookies. I can see some of their fans in the audience going, and I quote, oofy, as Blue Yoshi steps up to the plate and is an immediate out to their own critter.
Back
And
to
we
the dugout.
begin the Daisy chain. Let's see how it goes on this stadium. Baby Daisy looks at one, charges up and swings at the second, but it's gonna be a fly, and an easily fielded one. Oh no! The ice physics throwing off John Cena's positioning. He doesn't see the ball. and he doesn't have it, and Baby Daisy, with Boo support, takes a double on what any other stadium would have been a routine pop fly.
Runners
The
on
Daisy
the
chain
corners.
finds first and third in what should have at least been 2 outs. Captain Daisy is going to go out, but Baby Daisy's gonna try and run home off of the banana bobble and is going to make it. Mr. Consistency up with 1 on, nobody in scoring position, and 2 outs means this inning's probably going to end soon. But not quite yet, as he hits a single of his own. However, the Flowers getting away with a little highway robbery here, taking runs where they should not be able to find them.
Unfortunate fielding, striking again for the rookies, as finally Critter is the one who's able to clean up the inning, catch a hit that was destined for center field with a good dive, and keep the Flowers at only a 2-run scoreline. Now, again, line drives off Critters to center left and center right can be devastating. Unfortunately, Brown Critter hits it too high here. Both Daisies get in position for that catch. And while both are stunned, with no runners on, no one's able to take advantage of it as Brown Critter is caught out by a fly for his at-bat. John Cena, the 9th batter, immediately caught out by the first baseman of Tyler 1, and we're back up to the top of the order with Captain Bowser Jr.,
who sends it right over to Captain Daisy at the second base position. And that'll be a 3rd scoreless and almost baseless for the rookies. I think they've had a couple get on, maybe? Or have they had any? I think they've gotten 1 on. 3 outs, or 9 down, since that was the end of their 3rd inning, and they're only 1 batter into the top of their order. They've only gotten 1 base this entire game.
Yeah, we haven't seen any double plays, so that math checks out now. Blue Pianta does hit a good single. Soda Poppin' also hits it right up the middle for a single of his own. And now immediately the Flowers find themselves in scoring position as Blue Critter steps up to the plate. Can Blue Critter be the first one to find the dangerous spots to hit on Peach's Ice Garden? Good contact, but this one's right out to left field, and John Cena in position to catch that one and keep the runners honest.
John Cena not getting foiled this time. No Boo to make him lose track out there in the ice, and it'll be Blue Yoshi up to see if anything can happen in this inning. A batter known for occasionally getting a good single, occasionally striking out, as it turns out. Cookie with a little bit of a celebration there. You don't normally see strikeouts from non-captain tier pitchers. And the Daisy chain steps up with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Baby Daisy throwing one far. A bomb instead of a Boo this time is not going to be enough to cause disruption, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. We'll start in the middle of the Daisy chain in the bottom of the 4th, but first it is the 2nd batter from the rookies batting first in the 4th.
What?
A little fun with numbers there.
I didn't pass math in high school. Ignore the fact that I have a math minor. Brock, the first batter to find the hole that almost guarantees him. Yes, he's going for 3rd, and in a rare move for Grand Slam Galaxy, that's a triple off the bat. That's the place we gotta fear. Any batter who finds that angle and hits it deep to center left or center right can almost guarantee themselves a triple. Critter wants more with a deep hit, but it'll run foul. No one's sitting in those stands.
Do you think fans are even allowed in the Peach's Ice Garden, or is it royalty only? Another good hit from Critter is going to lock up a double, but it's not the right angle to lock up the triple. Critter will stay at 2nd after driving one in, and this is where the rookies start trying to put themselves in this game. No outs yet, with Cookie up. She's going to slap it right away, and it's going to go past the infield. Pow Block's going to disrupt Baby Daisy, but Critter and Cookie are both going to settle only for one base each. Put runners on the corners for Hammer Bro. Will we see that the first ever home run on Peach's Ice Garden?
I swear
Charges up. He wants it. Watches the first. Swings at the second. It is a line drive, but it's just going to be past the center. Falls too sharply. Pow Block interruption is going to prevent Baby Daisy from fielding it. That'll drive in 2. It'll be a triple for Hammer Bro.
Just like that, one batter finds the right spot, and then suddenly, well, it looks like the rookies are paying attention as 2 other batters this inning find the exact space they need to and drive in 3 runs. Now Bouncer, batter number 6. Slider knocks it straight up the center. Hammer Bro, though, not sure if it's going to be a pop fly, so he stays at third. Batter number 7. Opportunity to let Brown Critter take the field, but also finds an excellent hit out to right field now. Is that going to be another triple? The attempted star hit, but Yoshi was knocked out by a green shell, means that it'll be more than enough for a triple, and with no outs so far this inning, the rookies have driven in 5 just from good base hits.
And that is what I was saying about Peach's Ice Garden. With the right hit, any offense can pop off, any defense can fall apart. Right now, it's the offensive rookies popping off, and the defensive Flowers falling apart. But the Flowers had a good start to this game still. A bobble from Blue Critter is going to allow another to come in cleanly. Luigi starting to tire, and that is disastrous for these Flowers. They have let up 6 in this one inning, and that will force Luigi to step off.
They've let up 6 without getting a single out so far. That could have been a double from Blue Critter, but instead, it's no outs. John Cena will finally be the first out. Blue Critter will do what he should have done last play and get the double play, but this inning could be over. Instead, Bowser Jr. has to face down a star pitch from Daisy. Watches it fly.
Watch it, and that's possibly the best thing you can do against her star pitches. She's not content. She's throwing another one. Bowser Jr. will hit this one, and there is 0 chance of disruption. Luigi doing a funky little dance out there on the ice as he snags that ball. Finally shuts down the inning, and it is up to the middle of the Daisy chain and Mr. Consistency to start this one off for the Flowers and see if they can't return some of the damage that was dealt to them.
It's a good sign for the rookies, these big explosive innings being what they need here. But I will point out that in terms of which team has been performing and getting better chances pending big explosive innings, it is the Flowers, as Daisy takes notes, finds the right place to smack that ball. Shell attempt at assistance, but Brown Critter, with eyes in the back of his head, is able to release more of that. Oh my god! The ice disruption! We have an inside the park home run from Daisy as the attempt to bring the ball back in is disrupted, and we have a 6-3 scoreline.
We've seen that once before, and we probably would have seen it more if we had seen the stadium more. Mr. Consistency Luigi, unable to find a good hit off of that star pitch, sends it to the glove of Critter. Cookie beginning to get tired, and it's Tyler 1 who has to try and keep the inning alive for the Flowers, give them more time to claw back in, is not going to hit outside of Hammer Bros range, and that will be enough to close the inning. Flowers have to prevent the rookies from figuring out what they did before and doing it time after time after time.
Well, Daisy, who I would argue is the best closer in the league, now up at the top of the 5th. First batter, Brock, grounds out to the first baseman. Tyler 1, even on the ice, keeps his footing and guarantees that out. So now Critter will have to step up to the plate.
Strike 1 against Critter. Had a boo on that one, banana on this one. Decides to go for it. I think it's going to curve foul. Yes, it will, and that'll be strike 2.
No
Daisy
star
not
pitch.
putting anything in it. It'll be a slap hit. It finds the right angle, but the support, the chemistry in the outfield, boosting through the bananas and keeping Green Critter to a single off that hit. Star pitch from Daisy. Cookie makes the smart decision not to swing at it, and we're going to see a second one. There is boo support on this play, which on any other stadium might not be enough, but here it is. But Green Critter isn't willing to see it. He thinks it's gonna be an out. Stays over at first. Cookie's already tagged up, and Green Critter has nowhere to go.
It's a big, deep hit from Hammer Bro. Plenty of time for this POW block to fly out, but no, not sent in time. Daisy doing the heroic play and taking that one for Baby Daisy, who makes the play and keeps the rookies scoreless. At least in that half inning at the top of the 5th. They are still up 6-3. I need to stop that habit of mine. Blue Pianta, excellent slap hitter, finds the right line. Boo does not come out in time to allow more, though, so that'll just be a single for Blue Pianta as Cookie continues to ask, how much longer can I run this game?
Hoping to get the game score here. You have to pitch 5 innings to be credited with a game, at least in the MLB. We don't really credit with games here in the Galaxy League, but Cookie likes the statistics. And a weak ball from Soda's gonna be a double play, erasing Pianta's solid hit. That is enough for Cookie. She says she's fine with 4.2 innings, which actually means 4.66. Blue Critter is going to immediately try and punish that, but there's no item support, and Brown Critter's a fast enough runner to get under that in time. That will be the second scoreless inning from the Flowers.
With a 3-run lead and 4 innings left to play, the rookies are not at all in a safe spot here, as Bouncer, batter number 6, grounds out to start off their batting rotation for this inning.
Good hero dive by Soda there to snatch that one up. Could have been a much more brutal hit. Will hit right out to Blue Critter. Defensive player of the year, almost certainly. Like, give that player a Golden Glove.
Isn't the Golden Glove? Oh, for a second there, I was thinking of the Pitchers Award, but that's I forget what that's called.
That's the Cy Young.
Thank you. All right, rookies kept scoreless at the top of the 6th. Besides their one big explosive inning, they haven't had that many opportunities. Meanwhile, the Flowers, who have not had like pure explosions of offense, I've had a lot more opportunities. Blue Yoshi, though, continues his streak of not producing much, grounds out to the second baseman. Baby Daisy with boo support if it's triggered. Yes.
It will be. They lose track, and Baby Daisy runs to second. Looks like she's going to third. Never mind. And no wonder, because look at that throw from Hammer Bro.
Starred player, chemistry with the player on third. Yeah, that's danger. Baby Daisy, look at... Like, okay, excellent catch from Hammer Bro to deny to Daisy's line drive to center, but what intelligence from Baby Daisy to see that coming and make it back to second and deny the double play. Meanwhile, Critter isn't able to snag it. Baby Daisy's trying to run home, and despite the cannon of an arm on Hammer Bro, it's not able to make it in time.
Some excellent play by Baby Daisy out on the ice there. Needed support from her team, but if it were not for her awareness, she would not have made it home that inning. And as someone is pointing out in the audience, I believe that is, yes, her 3rd run she has managed to make this game. This time it's Daisy going home, and she will make it ahead of that throw by John Cena. Suddenly that 6-run lead, or that 6-run inning that gave them a 3-run lead, has dwindled to only a 1-run lead. Mr. Consistency hitting that Peach Ice Garden triple you always see. Now Bowser Jr. starting to reach into the star power to try and get these outs. gets a strike against Tyler 1, but the second one will be a slap that will be bad contact as it goes right over to the shortstop for an out.
That does mean that the Flowers, who are the team who have managed to actually put themselves in scoring position more often across more innings, are only 1 run down. And unless the rookies, well, Bobble from Luigi will deny the out at first, rough play for him. I almost wonder if the players have a harder time gripping the ball on the ice. Look, unless the rookies can have another explosive inning, which is always possible for them, then the Flowers are in great position to try to clean up this game. But 2 good hits from John Cena and Bowser Jr. put a runner at first, a runner at second, no outs. Excellent opportunity for them if Brock is able to keep up this offense.
I think we see a star pitch from Daisy. There it is.
Does he swing? He doesn't swing.
Brock
Amazing.
does not swing.
Amazing.
Does she send it again? She will not. He takes the slap. It's up center. It's the right line to load the bases, but no one's running in yet. And now Daisy's getting tired. Green Critter, dangerous hitter, up at the base. Hits a line drive. It's fair. I thought that was going to be too far. I thought Baby Daisy had that. That'll be enough to drive John Cena home. Keep the bases loaded.
Just like I cursed them, apparently, just like that, the rookies with an opportunity for an absolutely explosive inning. 3 runners on, still no outs. Hammer Bro up next.
Off the mound. Blue Critter, like you were predicting, gives Daisy her infield spot back, is hoping just to close it up with fastballs. We're going to see a double play that drives in another runner. Runner on third for Hammer Bro, and the 3-run lead is back. Star pitch to completely disarm this Hammer Bro charge. The fastballs from Blue Critter are what you want to see from this team here if you are a fan. That'll be another one coming in off a line drive single up the center. Luigi misses the dive. It's now a 4-run lead, biggest one the rookies have had.
No, they were up 5-0.
Huh?
No, they weren't up 5-0. I'm thinking of last game. Excuse me.
You're thinking of last game. Daisy will take that out there to put it away, and now the Flowers have to find 4 runs. At least. They have 3 innings to do so, provided the rookies don't score any more, and they are past the rookies' scariest parts of their offense. I say scariest because it's all scary. Blue Pianta gets a good hit out to left field. It's only good enough for a single, but anyone on is good for the Flowers right now.
Soda Poppin has to try to hit his way past a starred pitch. Does just that, but is caught out by the third baseman. Bouncer jumps up, grabs it, immediately turns it back over to Brock at first place for the double play, and the Flowers look like they can go scoreless here as Blue Critter grounds out to shortstop. Critter turns the play, 3 outs very quickly against the Flowers, and if they want to stay in these playoffs, they need a big last 2 innings as their third pitcher, Blue Critter, is up on the board. Daisy, unfamiliar with the shortstop position, is not able to make the catch as blasted to left field.
And I know Rookies fans were a little worried about their third pitcher this game, but Bowser Jr. has held on long enough to prevent any switches so far. Meanwhile, the Flowers do not have the same luck, and Baby Daisy, an expert on the ice, is able to avoid all the same issue
Mistake
that has plagued other outfielders in these fly scenarios with the boo item.
I'm going to point out, though, against the Flowers right now, whenever they've let 1 runner on first, 1 runner on second with relatively few outs, they've had a lot of trouble cleaning it up. But Daisy in that shortstop position proves that it's not just Blue Critter who can make the expert level dives that this team needs, turns the double play, and at least gets the Flowers out of a dangerous position. But if they want this game, if they want to see the finals, they need to turn up big in the bottom of the 8th. And who's to start? Blue Yoshi.
Need a hero play from him right here. Find something but it's just an out. Admittedly, a little bit of a longer out than it normally takes for him to go away, but
Do
that's
not-
all it is. And
Do
now
not
it's up
say
to
that
Daisy
Blue
King.
Yoshi took longer to get out than he normally did.
I say only what I see, Willie. And what I'm seeing is spelling disaster for the Flowers as Baby Daisy doesn't end the inning but doesn't get on either. And Bowser Jr.'s reaching deep into this star power, throwing star pitch after star pitch, trying to get these strikeouts or even just bad contact. That'll be a good start if they want to get a 2-out rally. Firing it up the center from to Daisy, bringing up Captain Daisy.
Charges,
She's
but
charging.
watches the first. She has item support from Mr. Consistency behind her. Attempted a ball just up the middle.
Isn't much.
Hey, it's a runner on first, it's a runner on second. Just a run in a situation like this would be an amazing recovery, but Mr. Consistency wants more. He charges deep. Unless the ice interferes, though, no. Caught out by John Cena in left field, and despite an excellent attempt at a recovery, the Flowers enter the last inning with a 4-run deficit against the Rookies.
They've got to shut the Rookies down now and then make it back themselves. 3 outs. They have to get 3 outs they have to avoid, but Blue Critter doesn't have the stamina. It'll be Soda taking the field. That moves Blue Critter over to third base. And it's Green Critter here to take full advantage of the pitcher swap. Baby Daisy in there in time, cares about the bomb, but sends it over to Yoshi, who with the buddy assist is able to make the double play.
Will it be the end of the Flowers? If it is, it's an excellent defensive play to show off, but Cookie manages to hit a good single, and Hammer Bro, with what should be his last at-bat this game, pounds one straight up the middle. I think Cookie should reach home off this, unless Daisy can turn it in a lot sooner. No, Blue Yoshi denied from being in position for the buddy throw. A double from Hammer Bro, and a 5-run lead now for the Rookies.
Strike one for Bouncer. And the second hit is a hit, and it's right into that triple position. The Rookies have done their job. They have capitalized much better on the quirks of Peach's Ice Garden. Despite the Flowers' better spot, the Rookies have found the explosive innings they've needed. That is now a 6-run lead, the highest we've seen scored in this game so far, and in the series as well. The Flowers have to mimic that performance, and they have only 3 outs between them and elimination. The Rookies have 7 runs between them and elimination.
Well, it's immediately a star pitch from Bowser Jr., but despite a good hit from Tyler 1, the diving catch from Critter turns that and turns the first out of the inning. In big Majora's Mask text, 2 outs remain.
Strike one. Pianta doesn't like that one, watches it. Will he watch the second? No, he's charging for it. He wants it. He's fouling it. But maybe a little bit of a call out onto Bowser Jr. here. I know your tricks, and I'm going to slap out another foul.
Oh my god, okay. Another slider attempt. Blue Critter makes good on it though and finds the right spot. Actually, could he get caught out? No. Barely makes it to first base.
Makes it to base, and that we'll finally see the third pitcher. It's a Critter, but that means they don't have the crucial shortstop that they have. They're relying on Critter's fastballs instead of defensive prowess.
It's too little too late as Bowser
enough.
Jr. is put right in the right position to turn the double play, ice the game, if you'll excuse me. I've been holding on to that one. I've not. And the Rookies capture the semifinals in an absolute thrilling battle with the Flowers, 11-5 on the final game at Peach's Ice Garden.
I have to say, the score belies it. This could have been anyone's game, Willie. But
This
in perhaps one last little bit of poetry, the Flowers' final score is 5. Their
no.
final score on the season is the number that has taunted them for their entire existence as a team. That 5-run barrier, they just weren't able to break the gap when it mattered.
You didn't have to do it to them like that.
Willie, I do. The story is there, and I'll be damned if I don't tell it.
Damn. All right, the Flowers, despite a heroic turnaround of their team late in the season, squeaking into the playoffs, shutting out the Musicians, taking it all the way to Game 3 in the semifinals, the Rookies, the number 2 seed, squeak the game out and successfully, on their first time on Peach's Ice Garden, score the win. You know what that means? Well,
It's a father-son finals, Willie.
Yep, that means that we're going to have the Rookies versus the Monsters in a best of 5 tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific for the fate of Season 1 in Grand Slam Galaxy. Before we talk about that and hype up that matchup, though, let's, well, give the Flowers their flowers. What an incredible turnaround from this team.
An absolutely amazing turnaround. I don't think anyone going into last week, before Series 7 had played out, I don't think anyone expected the Flowers to make it to semifinals, let alone take the Rookies, the 2nd seed, one of the most commanding teams in the league, to such a close 3-game series.
It really was. When we started off this league, the story of this league was really like 2, maybe 3 excellent teams to start, but so much of the league found their footing, turned it around, and none exemplify that more than the Flowers, who, after what was almost the worst record in the league heading into the final 2 play days, or the 7th slot in the league, turn it around, storm back, and I cannot give them enough credit for taking it so close with the Rookies. It's only for those 2 explosive innings that the Rookies had, or sorry, that really one explosive inning that they had in the 4th that turned this into an 11-5 scoreline. You made the right call there, Silver Lily. That 6 runs doesn't actually tell the story of this game. This was a nail-biter all the way to the very end.
Just an excellent series here today, Uli. I feel sorry for any fan of the league that missed it, and encourage them to seek out recordings if they can.
Let's talk
the Flowers fought incredibly hard in order to make this happen, and despite the couple of zeros we see here from Tyler 1 and Blue Yoshi, they didn't have a performance this game, but both of those players have been crucial to the Flowers making it to this point in the first place. Of course, credit goes to the 2 co-captains, Captain Daisy and Sub-Captain Luigi. Absolutely incredible performances from them year-round. Daisy was carrying her team for the longest time, with only really Luigi, Mr. Consistency himself, for support. The wins they got were primarily off of them. Blue Critter, this just wasn't the field for him. He really likes those long and high balls, and on a stadium like this, those just turn into easy outs. But he's been a stellar defensive player, backbone of the team. Baby Daisy, honestly, performed a lot better than you might expect here. I do think that player is underrated. This team used her in the outfield. We saw the Eggs use her to good effect in the infield during the Winter CPU Classic. And you know I'm a Pianta fan, so there's nothing I have to say there.
Just absolute incredible players around the board. Incredible attempt from the Flowers, but the Rookies are the team who are able to seal up the game and punch their way to the finals, where they'll be playing against the Monsters, the team that denied them first seed by 4 runs. And I should point out that when the Monsters and the Rookies had their series back in Series 6, the head-to-head of this team, the Rookies won Game 2 on Bowser's Castle 13-9. The Monsters won Game 1 on Yoshi Park 10-9, in no small part, if only because of the craziest play that we've seen in Grand Slam Galaxy, a bobble off a boo hit turning into a 2-run homer that should have been an out, and that turned the entire game on its head, giving the Monsters that 1-run lead. So if you look at just the head-to-head, the Rookies with a strong advantage heading into the finals of Grand Slam Galaxy. Do you think, what do you think we'll be looking at here, as the Rookies and the Monsters are the two teams we'll be squaring off in the finals?
I think that if the opportunity presents itself, the Monsters will be taking the Rookies to Bowser Jr.'s playroom. We saw it really impact the Rookies earlier in this series. Meanwhile, the Monsters were able to have offensive success on it against the Spitballs. The Rookies are, of course, known as the premier offensive team in the league, and while the Monsters have credible offense and defense, I know that lately they've been a bit worried they can't stand up to the number 2 seed. Even after their game series against them went 1-1, seeing that it happened off of that John Cena bobble that resulted in a 2-run home run when the game was won by 1 point, I know that the Monsters have been worried about that. So I think they're going to do everything in their power when it comes time to choose fields to stack things in their favor, just to slow down the Rookies as much as they can to try and lock up this championship.
Well, the Monsters versus the Rookies. The final of Season 1 of Grand Slam Galaxy will be a best of 5 tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific. We will see you all there as the Monsters, this team that has held on to first seed ever since all the way back in Playday 2, have to look whether or not they'll be able to defend that crown versus a devastatingly, powerfully offensive team of the Rookies. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me and Silver Lily for the semifinals. We will see you all tomorrow. Silver Lily, any last thoughts before we go?
You know, they're all gone.
They're all gone. No thoughts, head empty. Ladies and gentlemen.
But you asked for them, and away they went.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific. Kai, if you could join me in my office real quick, I will talk to you about the pick bands. And we're not going to wait out. Have a good night, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Night, everyone.